Greetings everyone and welcome to another episode of the GnM Podcast with me, Conor, and also with Nathan.
Hello.
How's it going, Nathan?
Yeah, it's good, thanks. Yeah, it's my life. Life never changes.
Yeah, it doesn't. Like it's been quite a strange week, hasn't it? There's been a lot of news, but no news at the same time.
Yeah.
Hasn't there? There's like a lot on Fallout.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Because everybody suddenly decided for some reason they want to cash in on Fallout.
Yeah. You know, we've only been waiting for it for for Fallout 7 years for a new Bethesda game studio game. Another 4 years. 4 years yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So you know.
Yeah.
It's about goddamn time it came out. About goddamn time.
Yeah, fucking right, yeah.
So, we start off every episode with what we've been playing, and we always start with Nathan. So, Nathan, what's been happening?
Yeah, why break a perfect record? Let's see. Well, yesterday, I got a quick go on Assassin's Creed Syndicate, actually.
Did you? Okay,
yes.
Let's talk about that. What did you think?
It was alright, you know,
Well,
Assassin's Creed. Yeah, no, great, fine. If you're into Assassin's Creed, you'll like this one, you know. But the thing that really bothered me, do you want to know what really bothered me about it?
The rope launcher?
No, that's fine. That's fine. There's nothing to do with that. It's the fact that you have to pay skill points to unlock features that were already in the game running up to that point previously. If you know what I mean. Well, not like already in the franchise, like a franchise staple. So like being able to see through walls with your eagle vision.
Okay, alright, so that's now an ability.
Yeah, unlocking double assassinations. That's now an unlockable ability.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just stuff like that really bothers me.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a small kind of trivial little thing because they're really easy to unlock, but it's like, why? Why are you locking that out?
Yeah.
And you know, you can only wonder if it's because they want you to, you know, invest more time in trying to grind skill points or whatever, but I don't know. It just really bugged me. So yeah, it was the same as ever, really.
Yeah.
Great, much simpler than Unity, because I don't know whether you noticed with Unity there was like things all over the hood all the time.
Yeah.
Like, there's always something going on. It felt kind of MMO like in a way, where it's like
a massive range of stuff to do. Yeah.
Yeah, but also your screen is always really busy.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. And in Syndicate they've really simplified that.
Is there a lot of like repetition of like NPCs? You know, like every time I've seen gameplay, I always see that big bald guy.
Yeah,
and it's like this is like 3 or 4 of them at the same place all the time. I was wondered, is there like a big repetition in that, or?
Yeah, that is in the enemies there is. Yeah, but obviously in the the non-interactive NPCs, you don't really notice because you don't really pay them any mind. Whereas in Unity, you're more likely to notice because there's more of them. But yeah, with the enemies, and that kind of brings me on to the combat. Really, with the enemies, they are very repetitive, as is the combat. It's not even fun, the combat, you know, whereas with, I don't know, the nearest thing I can compare it to is the Arkham series. You know, with the Arkham series, at least it's fun, because it looks good, and it does, like, you know, like, mess around every now and then, so suddenly you will have to counter-attack, or suddenly you'll have to try a different tactic.
Yeah.
Whereas with this, if you want to break block, you press A, if you want to counter, you press B, and if you just want to punch the lights out, you just keep mashing X.
Yeah.
You just keep doing that, because they won't dodge. They won't do anything. They'll just let you punch them.
Yeah.
They'll just, you know, you can just keep wailing on them, and that's it. You know, and it's, but it was all right. It was really pretty looking. I mean, really desperately pretty looking. Really, really good graphics.
Yeah.
And solid as well. I did, you know, encounter the occasional kind of frame
drop. Yeah.
But you know, it was nothing on the scale of Unity.
No.
Because with Unity, even now, I did have a go on that yesterday as well. Just for a bit of comparison, you know, even with Unity, there's still now frame drops.
Yeah.
And pretty serious frame drops as well. You really notice them.
You notice them mainly going through the crowds.
Yeah.
And that made me, every time I played it, just go around. You know, like you try and go round on the buildings or try and go over or whatever. But it used to annoy. That was like the big annoying thing for me when I was playing. Because I'll be honest, like the stuff that I did when I was playing it, like away from the major crowds and stuff, I didn't mind it. I kind of enjoyed kind of running around Paris, but it did get repetitive after a while.
Mm-hmm.
And the story was a bit dull, but the assassination missions were good because you always had like more than one alternative. It was just more Assassin's Creed at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, totally, and that feeling kind of comes through in this one. I mean, it's more Assassin's Creed, just played in a different way.
Yeah.
And the controls are a little bit different, so it does kind of try to give you that feeling of being a bit different, but at the same time, it's exactly the controls are much more similar to Assassin's Creed 4. You've got that kind of LT to aim, or L2, depending on which console you're playing.
Yeah.
Or I don't know what it is for keyboard, but
it's right click for keyboard.
Right click, to aim, and then right trigger to throw or whatever, and to fire or whatever. And now it's A to go into stealth mode rather than the really weird left trigger.
Yeah.
Which seemed really strange to me, but yeah. So on the whole, more Assassin's Creed, really.
Yeah.
And it's and I suppose if you're into it, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just not anymore.
Yeah. It's like I'm just not easily satisfied at the end of the day.
Yeah. No,
it's like I know someone at uni who's like really into them, and I was just like, how come? I asked him a question like, how come you're into it so much after Unity? And he was like, well, I know that Unity was a bit disappointing, but the Assassin's Creed story is really always really good. And I was like, is it really? And he was like, I enjoy it. And he's like, I enjoy it, okay. And I was like, you got yourself out.
Yeah, you can enjoy it, but you can't. I don't think really realistically, particularly with Syndicate, pretend that the story is anything special.
No.
Because it's not.
Yeah, it's like even my favourite one, 4. Like the story wasn't great in that. Like it felt a little bit, I don't know, kind of tacked onto this epic pirate game, if you know what I mean.
If they'd just left it at pirate game and
open pirate game, run around, do some stuff with pirates. Yeah,
used the name Kenway and had it as a kind of a tie-in kind of thing, so you could go, oh, this guy, okay, so maybe we've got like a pirate franchise going on, but this guy's also Connor's grandfather. That's pretty interesting, that's pretty cool. But instead they tacked on the name Assassin's Creed, so I particularly went into it thinking, oh, okay, it's going to be Assassins at Sea, but it wasn't really. It was, like you said, really tacked on. So, it was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay, it was decent, I suppose, but like I said, a lot of it was uninspiring.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, what else have you played?
What else? Well, in honour of that little known game Fallout coming out this week.
Oh, I know that. What's that again?
Fallout 4.
I'm going to have to do a Google search.
Yeah, I think you have to. But in honour of that, I've been playing or replaying New Vegas. So I kind of dropped off with that a little while ago. But I kind of went back to it, and God, I love it. I was looking at it and I was thinking, why did I ever stop playing this?
Yeah.
God, this is fantastic. I think probably one of the reasons I stopped playing was because I was fed up of dying. But
yeah.
once you get around that, and once you do kind of progress, and now that I finally worked out how to use things, like I would always go into these cupboards and I would always find like coffee mugs and cups and duct tape and wrenches, and I was like, I don't need any of this.
Yeah.
Why am I opening up these cupboards and finding this crap? So that was really irritating. And then a couple of days ago, all of a sudden it clicked what I had to use them for, and I was like, oh, well, I've just wasted a lot of my time. So suddenly I was crawling back through buildings or bombed out shelters or whatever, and just basically taking everything I could.
Yeah.
And I've been particularly playing some of the DLC, which is the one I've just finished playing is Old World Blues, which is a lot of fun. That's I'll give you kind of the basic story. It's you get kind of beamed up and transported to a super secret location.
Yeah.
By all of these guys called the Think Tank, who are brains in jars, basically. With monitors for eyes and a mouth and that kind of thing, and they're basically they used to be human, but they've now transplanted their heads into jars and that kind of thing. Because it's a 1980s sci-fi kind of thing, and it's campy and cheesy and quite funny. Like they're all a bit kind of they're all a few cards short of a deck, if you know what I mean. They're great scientists, but for example, one believes that your fingers and your toes are actually little penises. So it shouts very loudly, I can hear your penis-tipped feet going around here. It's, that kind of thing. And they also in that kind of ridiculous, farcical kind of thing, they take your brain, your spine, and your heart, the last two by accident, for experimentation. And so they replace you with synthetic organs, which is very, very strange.
Yeah.
But, they have the added bonus of giving you extra strength and perception and, all that kind of thing, added skills, basically.
Yeah.
And you play from there. You explore this kind of little extension of the map called Big Mountain, which is, really fun to go around because it's got that kind of 80s, 70s, 60s sci-fi feeling where you've got these robot scorpions attacking you and those robots that look like Space 1999, the Danger Will Robinson.
I get where you're coming from, yeah.
Yeah. They've got those kind of robots running around. It's very funny.
Yeah. I think is it 3 or 4 DLC?
I think it's 5 actually.
5, okay, 5.
Yeah, but I think that they all seem pretty good so far from what I've seen.
Yeah.
And it extends because you get your into Old World Blues. You get basically an apartment called the Sink, which looks like some kind of military stronghold, which is really cool to go to. And all the appliances and things like the sink and the light switches and the toaster all have personality chips.
Yeah.
And they're all fucking hilarious. I mean, you get a little robot, which is a Securitron, but shrunk down. Called Muggy, who is addicted to, or is forced to by his programming, break down coffee mugs and dish plates and dishes and that kind of thing, and give you the components for them. He has to do that. That's in his nature, and it's kind of like he's high on coffee all the time because he can't do it. It's really funny, and the whole idea of him being like this tiny little Securitron robot that's about knee high is the guy that created him. I think his name was Mobius. I think Mobius created him. Who's the main villain. He thought he was always jealous of Robco. I think is the guys who create Securitron. Always jealous of the Securitrons with their big guns and the really powerful looking machines, and so he thought it would be really funny to make a tiny little weak one. And as a result, both him, Muggy, and the toaster have insane anger issues, which is again very, very comical to see and just really adds to the whole experience. So yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah,
great. And although I think we'll probably come on to this a bit later when we talk about Fallout 4, but although it's not a Bethesda game, like it's not made by their studio, it's just published by them, it still feels like it.
Yeah.
And I wish there'd been maybe a little bit more had been taken from New Vegas and put in Fallout 4, but I think we'll come on to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's me really. That's just it.
Okay, so should I go what I've been playing?
Absolutely, yeah, go for it.
Okay, yeah, I've been playing more Football Manager, which I won't go too much into because I talked about it last week. But
and the week before.
Yeah, yeah, but me and George have been playing that.
Excellent.
Yeah, we've done a co-op and it's been going quite well. And I've been streaming some of it on my own time, so yeah, that's been kind of cool. At twitch.tv/DagoraTV Plays, go check it out.
Plug.
Yeah. More of The Witcher 3 again. I won't talk too much about because I'm kind of getting there. I think I'm nearly there. I'm nearly done. I'm like 9/10 of the way through, and I'm then get onto the DLC. So
this time you're not doing side quests, are you?
Oh no, I'm doing the main kind of side quest. The side quest is a lot of story. I'm not doing the side quest where it's like a woman on the side of the road is like, "Can you pick this up for me?" And I'm like, "No."
Yeah. Go and kill this creature, or go and kill 5 of these. That kind of thing.
Yeah, so I'm avoiding that stuff and just kind of gone through it just so I can get like a fresh take of the DLC, because I've been doing the DLC 3 times because I've got 3 different styles to go through. Which is great. And then where else have I playing? Have you heard of Colo Juarez Gunslinger?
Yes, I have heard of that. Yeah.
I've played that this week, and I just finished it last night, which it's been a lot of fun. Like, it's got this kind of
It looks like a kind of arcadey kind of shooter.
It is, but I love the kind of style. Do you know when you get shot of like a... I mean, it's like, do you know like when it comes up in a comic book, like the page is kind of getting torn? That kind of look. It's got that when you ever get shot. And the skill system is kind of like on like... do you know like you got like a ring of 6 bullets, you know, like when you're reloading a shotgun?
Yeah.
It's got like that, and you pick one, and the interchange and everything. It's quite hard which ones to pick, because there's so many different... There's like 3 different layers of abilities. And there's this like Matrix kind of style thing. Do you know like when you get shot, you can kind of dodge a bullet in real time?
Oh, yeah.
So like when a bullet comes, it'll like go into bullet time kind of mode, and it'll like the camera will twist around, and then you can press like left or right, and you can like move out the way and then shoot him in the face. It's so cool. Yeah.
Oh,
and then you've got also them kind of Western battles. Do you know when you kind of like stood, you know, with like just feet shoulder width apart?
Yeah.
And then you like pit the gun up and like bang. I mean, yeah, duels. Yeah, you've got a lot of them, and it's really good, to be honest. Like I really liked it.
Oh, yeah, right.
And yeah, I'd recommend it to anyone, to be honest, because like it's really like a lot of fun to kind of go around, because it's not just your gun either. There's so many different weapon types. There's so many guns. Also, you get like the kind of like grenades with the like bottles of like alcohol, and you put fire on them. And
Molotovs.
They're not really Molotovs, because like the fire kind of goes. You put the fire thing inside of it, not like a tissue hanging out. So you put it inside, and you lob it, and then it takes a while to explode. And then you've got dynamite as well and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I did die a lot because there is it's quite hectic. You know, it's not like it's still behind a bit of cover game. You're kind of always moving, and you're always getting shot at.
All right, I'm just looking at it now, and I'm thinking the one I've played is Call of Juarez Bound in Blood.
Is that the one in that modern day?
No, that was 2000. It was set in 1864 and 66.
Oh, okay.
So
there has been a few in modern day.
Yeah, I'm just having a look now actually. So yeah, because that one I played and I thought that was really good. So yeah, I might have played Gunslinger though. I don't think it's been a long time because it was 2009 when I played it. So.
Yeah, but yeah, it was good. It's been really impressive. I really enjoyed it, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is it the Cartel you're thinking of?
I think there was one like real in that modern world,
set in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I remember Angry Joe gave it like one of his worst games of the year. That year, something. Because apparently it was like trying to be a Western but in the modern day, and it just failed. It just looks terrible.
Oh yeah, 6 out. Oh yeah, wow, that didn't do very well at all.
No, not at all.
Well, the series actually looks like it's pretty well received actually.
Yeah, like it seems that the Western games are very well received.
Yeah, like Red Dead Redemption and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Never played that. I really want to play that.
Red Dead Redemption is a sensational game. Like, truly unbelievable, yeah. Like, you'd like it. You'd like it a lot. There's like so much to do. The story is great.
Yeah.
Like, the big twist in it is like one of the... No, I didn't see it coming. It just comes at such an unknown time, and it makes so much sense, and it's just great.
Yeah.
I think it is regarded as one of the best games on that generation.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I have heard it's pretty special, but
yeah, it is. Yeah, you should get it. You should get it before you move on to another console. Definitely.
Yeah, I think I'm going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I kind of played that and finished it and kind of done with my time, and that's kind of what I've played this week. Like done 3 times. Been really on Football Manager, really. You know.
How long did Call of Juarez take you?
Well, I probably about 8 hours, 9 hours.
Okay.
I'd say, yeah. It wasn't like the longest game in the world.
Yeah.
I'll just see what the average time to beat the game is, because like I don't know. I think you can. There's a lot of like extras to do in the game, so you can take a lot of time.
Yeah.
And like the average is 7 hours, and then to do the completionist is 15 hours. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So that's pretty standard. That seems pretty good. Yeah, wow.
It's definitely worth your time. Yeah, I played it on PC and it ran well on my PC. So, yeah, like no issues with it at all. And yeah, I think it's available on 360.
Yeah,
360
I think
PS3. Yeah, so yeah, whenever you'll probably be able to get it for like a $5 in CEX or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll have a look at that.
Yeah. So should we go into the elephant in the room?
Yes, let's go on to that.
The big game that's been released this week, Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider.
I know.
Yeah, okay, Fallout 4. Yeah, so Tomb Raider come up with the madness of releasing it on the same day. You know, you think they would have brought it a week or two before. But anyway, Fallout 4. So we haven't actually been able to play the game yet. I haven't, because some finance issues with my own accord, and Nathan hasn't got a next gen console. But we've both seen. We've both seen a lot of gameplay. We've seen a lot about it.
Yeah, I mean, literally, our feeds have just been on YouTube. Our subscription boxes have been filling up,
definitely,
with Fallout news. You know, you cannot move for Fallout news. There's just everything everywhere. You know, it is a big game. Everybody has wanted a piece of it, and from what I've seen, it hasn't disappointed. You know, there's a lot of people coming out and going, "This is an amazing game."
Yeah.
And it's breaking records left, right, and centre. It
is, yeah. It broke it's got. Well, we'll get some quick stats on it. It's got a Metacritic score of 87, which I'll put that into context of the year so far. So the Metacritic score for the year so far is top is Witcher 3 with 93.
Yeah.
Then it's Undertale with 93.
Yeah.
And Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain 91. And the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Hearts of Stone DLC 89, and then Fallout 4 with 87.
Yeah.
So other than the DLC, it's the fourth game in that list. So very successful. I know people, want to see it as this hundreds everywhere, 10 out of 10s and all that. I know that on the reviews, I only saw one below a 9, which was. There's obviously been more since then, But on the day there was Destructoid gave it a 7.5. And then, literally, without people playing the game, they just went to the comments and was like, "How dare you give this 7.5? Yada yada yada. It's Fallout. What the fuck are you talking about? You should be reviewing this game." That kind of thing, which I always find a bit ridiculous, to be honest.
Yeah, it's the game. The game might not be for everyone, and I think everybody has their own different criteria when they're reviewing. I mean, there's lots of things I think I was reading one review where it was just it kind of really airbrushed over the fact that it was glitchy and sometimes the character models looked really dodgy. I think it might have been GameSpot. But
the GameSpot was these things happen, but you forget about it once you get some into the game. I think the problem with a lot of review places is that they didn't really want the hassle and kind of just tried to speak praises of it and try to minimise the stuff that they didn't really enjoy.
Yeah, I think it said there was one of them. It might not have been GameSpot, it might have been something else. But it said there's this problem, there's this problem, there's this problem, but none of that really matters. Yeah, and of course it matters. It matters to somebody. You know,
I know.
And there's glitches in Bethesda games nowadays, they're standard fare.
Yeah.
And in open world games in general, particularly in a Bethesda game, because they're so big and because there's so many different variables at any one time, they can't possibly prepare for every eventuality. Those things are gonna bother some people more than others. They wouldn't bother me as much because I know Bethesda's got a good track record at patching them out. And they're standard fare. Even now in Fallout, New Vegas, and Skyrim, there's still glitches.
There is, yeah.
There's still problems, but you get on with them.
Yeah,
you understand they're just part of it.
Yeah, it's not. They're obviously they're not the best in the world at patching glitches. They're not on the level of Monolith with Shadow of Mordor, where they put
CD Projekt Red.
Yeah, CD Projekt put 6 patches out in one day to fix bugs. They just went ham on it, and but at the same time they're not as bad as the guys who made Arkham Origins. That was we're not going to fix the PC game because we're working on the DLC.
Yeah.
But this kind of goes out with kind of everyone. Everyone who's been hypocritical online, but any reviewer that's reviewed the game, you cannot slag off games like Assassin's Creed Unity or whatever game come out last year for being broken and being glitchy, low frame drops. And then when the same thing happens to Fallout 4, you can just kind of throw that out the window. You've got to take it into account for all of it.
You have to. Yeah, I think you have to make a bigger deal out of them. I mean, with Unity, it was worse, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely worse. It was game breaking at times.
Yeah.
But we've all seen the glitches. I'll be honest, I don't think the Fallout 4 glitches are anywhere near as bad as what it was at Skyrim on release. That Skyrim release was unbelievable.
Dragons flying backwards.
Dragons flying backwards, yeah. You just like see a dragon coming, and he's like, you see his ass coming towards you, like, what the hell? And then you're watching it fly backwards, and like, okay then, yeah.
Well, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But I think that might raise something I think a lot of people are talking about how tired, quote unquote, the game looks. You know, I mean, like they're saying that the engine, because I thought they were developing a new engine, but apparently not.
No, they kind of redid a lot of
it. Yeah. Yeah. Does that maybe say maybe it's time for a bit of an update?
They do, and like, I'll be honest, like after seeing Fallout, because like the face models look off to me.
Some of them do. Some of them look off. I mean,
like, compared to like EA games, like EA get their faces like on point, like with Dragon Age, even with the FIFA games, and like the faces look beautiful people, and like I don't know, with Bethesda games, they always kind of with Bethesda game studio games, they always look a little bit alien to me. If you know what I mean?
The eyes look a bit too far apart.
Yeah.
The mouth looks a bit too stretched. It's weird rendering, but I've always tried to focus more on the setting, which is why I was so glad they removed that like close up cam, like whenever you'd speak to someone.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh god, that's uncomfortable. Biozora. Oh god.
Yeah, it's just that. Are they like if they do? Start making a new engine, that's obviously going to put the next game back like another year and a half. You know, it's like a big job making a new engine, or do they put it out to some other company? I don't know, but it's gonna. I think they're going to have to now. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I think I don't know. There's just they can't really afford not to by this point. I don't think.
Yeah, it's just like not graphically, but also mechanically. Comparing this game to say, you know, well, we'll say graphically to say like Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
You know, which game looks better? You know, it's not a contest.
Yeah.
And like
it's Metal Gear every day of the week.
Yeah.
But if we were to compare it to like another kind of like, I know Metal Gear's open, but that's like in different stages, isn't it?
If we're going to talk about The Witcher and like compared
Witcher,
to the amount of people that you get in, like if you go into a village with The Witcher. And you see all these people kind of scattered around the road. There's a lot of people on the screen at once, even though you don't really notice it completely. But there's a lot of people there, and the place feels incredibly alive. And like when there was that vault, you know, when he's going into the vault at the beginning of Fallout, and then you see like I don't know, like 7 or 8 people with you.
Yeah.
You know, it feels a little bit like.
You'd expect more to make it to the vault.
Yeah,
you'd expect
it was like that kind of thing disappointed me with Skyrim. Do you know when you're doing the Siege of Whiterun and you're going out and you're in the Imperials defending the city with honor, and like, oh shit, the Stormcloaks are coming, crap, we best prepare, and then like 3 of them come down.
Yeah, 3 Stormcloaks run at you, and then you kill those 3, and another 4 run at you, and then after that it's another 2, and then it needs to feel more epic.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's like because with I think. The last gen with Skyrim, I think they said, or they believed they could get more out of it. I think the original plan was to wait for next gen to come out, but they said we can probably get more out of it, so they made Skyrim.
Yeah.
And Skyrim really pushed the engine on both the console and the game to its limit.
Yeah, and I think the 2 games on that system that pushed that generation all the way to the limit was Skyrim and GTA 5.
Yeah, GTA definitely, and those compared to what we've got now look worn out.
Yeah,
you know,
I know Skyrim is the mod community going for it, and the GTA has got also a mod community, but also a remastered for PC and PS4 and that. But like mechanically, the game doesn't look. It looks like a couple of years old to me.
Yeah,
it doesn't look brand new. You know,
and it looks a bit kind of grainy and a bit kind of dodgy.
Yeah.
But with the next gen consoles, it was like the upgraded engine suddenly gave them a lot more leeway.
Yeah.
So they could really tweak the engine a bit more. But I don't think tweaking it is going to cut it anymore.
No, I know there's people saying that it's probably going to be 3 years for the next Elder Scrolls game now because they can just put the focus on that. Taking another year, make a new engine, get it working properly, and then make the games to make it, I don't know, a bit more technically incredible. You know, not like what we've got at the minute, to be honest. But anyway, the world looks phenomenal. You know, like there's so many different diverse areas, which I saw I think it was on PlayStation Access, a video where they went around the whole map, basically, and I watched the whole thing, and it's so different, like, areas of it, which looks great to me. You know, you can see the effects, but you can see signs of rebuilding as well, which I really liked about it.
Yeah, which has always been, I think, maybe important in the Fallout franchise, is that they give you, alongside this kind of desolation, and particularly this is particularly poignant in Fallout 4, because as we know, your guy, as well as you all kind of should know if you've watched the trailers and stuff like that, your guy starts off in 2077. I'm not going to tell you how he gets there, but he then finds himself in 2287.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, they've had a long time. So, you know, you've got that desolation of watching the world fall apart in Fallout 4 at the start, and then 210 odd years later, you're watching it be rebuilt. So they have this kind of hope versus despair, which is, you know, really important. And you know, and that's always been in the Fallout franchise. You know, Fallout 3, you know, again there was kind of rebuilding there, but it did look a bit more run down, and I think that kind of garnered some criticism. But in New Vegas particularly, you know, you had that shot of the long way away New Vegas Strip, which was alight and glowing and golden and lit up. Yeah. You know, the night sky, and that kind of gave you again a sense of, yeah, things aren't all bad. That place at least looks civilized. It's not, but, you know, it's about as close to civilization as you get in the wasteland, and that, you know, they gives you that, and yeah, it's great. It's great. So I think you're right. They've developed the world really well. Yeah.
Should we give you some statistics?
Yes, go for it.
Okay. So Fallout 4 sells 1.2 million on Steam in 24 hours.
Right.
That's only on PC. So with all the console and everything, it's probably gone to like 4 or 5 million on day one. And like, I was out like quite late at night on Monday night into Tuesday morning, and I walked past the game at like 12:30, and there was a queue all the way around the store at that time.
Oh God.
Yeah, because it was for the midnight release. So yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, all the way out the store. The store had opened, so there was already selling all the way round and round the back. There was just like a massive look of people. People were cosplaying and stuff. Like, there's a guy in power armor which looked like the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
It looked cool. But yeah, there was that, and it surpasses the GTA record on PC with concurrent players at one time, which makes it for a game with a single player element is the highest one in Steam's history. With
it's also the highest non-Steam. Yeah, it's also the highest non-Steam game to have the most concurrent players on Steam, isn't it?
Yeah, let's see how many it's got at the minute, at this exact moment in time. Like number one is Dota 2 with 491,000. Number 2 is Fallout, which is quite incredible because normally it's Counter-Strike. But number 2 is Fallout with 193,000. Their peak players is 469,073. And then Football Manager 2016 is there also in the top 10, just to let you know.
Yeah, okay. Alright, let's stay away from that, shall we?
But yeah, Fallout 4 is overtaking Counter-Strike at the minute and is sitting comfortably. Probably going to be there for probably till the end of the year.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair, and probably into next year as well.
Yeah,
and I think actually, to be fair, I think maybe this was Bethesda's plan, because I think maybe the game speaks for itself a little bit.
Yeah,
when you're watching the videos on YouTube, everyone's streaming it, everyone's playing it, and everyone's making videos about it. So all of a sudden, everybody wants this game because they're seeing everyone else playing it. You know, so it's very, very clever. I think, marketing. And it's nice to see a game that's, you know, got so much hype, particularly kind of, you know, in recent times, really deliver. You know what I mean? Because usually they don't. In some way, there's some major flaw, some major disappointment.
Hell, I know too much about that.
Sure, yeah. Don't we all? You know? Yeah. But yeah, with this, they genuinely did it. They genuinely delivered.
That's been kind of the story of the year. The hyped games for this year have really delivered. The Witcher 3 delivered. You know, Bloodborne delivered. MGS5 delivered.
Yep.
I was about to say Arkham Knight, kinda. Like 50% of it delivered.
Nearly delivered.
Yeah, nearly. Yeah. But like, you know, you also have your disappointments like Mortal Kombat. You know, that hasn't had nowhere near as big of a lifespan that people thought it was going to have. People thought that game was going to last for years. It ended up lasting for like 2 months. You know. But
it was very, very quiet.
It was. Yeah, like
kind of died off
when it came around. Like, because I think because like a fighting game is like such a slow experience.
Yeah.
Compared to other fighting games, people just aren't asked. But yeah, it's been Yeah, I think, I'm very happy that it's come out and it's had such the success that it's had. I'm very much looking forward to playing it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a video on it. I can't wait to be able to talk in this podcast about it once I've done. But it's been, it's just, it looks really, really good, and I love Codsworth on the videos that I've seen.
Yeah.
He was very entertaining. I love that, when you first see him for the first time after it's all happened.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I've been trimming the bushes, I've been waxing the floor. He's like, do you know anything that can get out nuclear fallout? Nothing.
There's a Muggy in Fallout New Vegas has a kind of similar line. He basically says, I have to crush coffee cups all day.
Yeah.
Do you know how many coffee cups brains in jars use on a day? Not fucking many. It's great. Now the one I really like is dog meat.
Dog meat.
I want a German Shepherd.
Okay, can I give hats off to a YouTube channel quickly? Yeah. Media Cows, because they had obviously a copy of the game before the game came out.
Yeah.
And I was just when at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Oh no, Monday. Sorry. All the stuff kind of started coming out, reviews and everything. And they released some of the Let's Play episodes they had. They released 15 episodes in one day.
15? How long were they?
30 minutes each. They had them in the can, ready to go. And then I think they were
just going.
Now they're on part 33, 34 or something like that. Fair play to them.
Yeah, Jesus, wow.
Yeah. They got that stuff out, and they're getting... And that's the way to do it, because on the day before it comes out, what's everyone going to be doing? Watching Fallout stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Yeah. So, you got anything more to say about it?
The only thing I was going to say. The thing that really disappointed me about the game is that I know they've got survival mode, but they don't have hardcore mode.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that. A lot of people downvoted it on Steam for no survival mode.
Yeah, and this is what I was kind of saying. I kind of wish Bethesda had taken Obsidian's cue from New Vegas and put hardcore mode in it, because hardcore mode gives you a really kind of accurate feeling of what it's like to try and survive in the wasteland. You've got to be watching your radiation. Your stim packs work slowly over time, which is again a feature they took and put in Fallout 4, which is great. You have to sleep, eat, and drink.
Yeah.
Which is really important actually. You don't use stim packs to heal limbs anymore. You have to use doctor's bags to heal broken limbs. So if you've got a broken leg or an arm or whatever, then you have to use your doctor's bag, and just kind of overall, there's your ammo weighs things, and your companions can die, which I think that mode was based on a mod for Fallout 3. Actually, I think, which they took and incorporated, Obsidian took and incorporated into the game. And I wish Bethesda had taken that and gone, and the thing about hardcore mode is it's an added feature. You can put the difficulty on normal mode, and then go normal, put hardcore mode on, and you can just turn it off at any time. It definitely makes the game more challenging, but it also makes it more fun. Because, like me, you have to learn to craft, and you have to learn to use whatever you got, And I'm kind of disappointed as well in that regard that weapon condition they've got rid of that. Because, I don't know, I like the fact that I was always having to watch whether my weapon was at breaking point.
Yeah, I think personally, I think one of the reasons why they got rid of that is because every stuff I've seen, they're always changing the weapon very, very quickly. Because there's so many different modifications you can do, so many different, different weapons you can pick up, so many different types of weapons you can get.
Yeah.
People are always changing. I think it kind of became a little bit unnecessary, maybe.
Yeah, I suppose if you're always modding it and you're always changing it, then you're going to have the newest parts on it and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'll tell you one thing I do like. The fact that power armor is an added addition now rather than an actual armor in itself.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice. That's a pretty cool thing. And the fact, you're collecting fusion cores as fuel cells and customizing it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That looks awesome. And also the fact that they've put hit markers and things like that is pretty useful.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's a kind of FPS thing that they've put in there, which is very useful in every single one I've played, especially when using first person.
Yeah, because my God, it's so inaccurate.
Yeah.
It could do with some calibrating. I mean, you need to get some Gareth McCarrion on that because it needs calibrating.
Yeah.
To shoot. Sorry, that's a Mass Effect reference. But yeah, the shooting was always pretty dire.
Yeah.
in 3 in New Vegas, because you'd shoot and the bullet would spin miles off to the left, and you're like, oh shit. So yeah, you'd have to depend on VATS quite a lot. But...
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, talking your ear off again.
No.
But, yeah, it was. I'm looking forward to knowing what you think about it, because this will be your first Fallout game, won't it?
First proper one. Like, I tried New Vegas a bit, and then I could never really get into it. So I'm going to label this as my first one. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll call it your first Bethesda Fallout experience.
Yeah, first Bethesda Fallout experience. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it. I'm looking forward to see how the kind of reviews kind of compare to it, because the reviews that people have given it is that it's really good and it's really satisfying. It just didn't blow me away like the other ones did, which probably stopped them from giving that 10 a lot of times.
Yeah. I would say that. One thing I've been meaning to pick your brains about, actually, it's kind of two things, actually.
Okay.
Given what we can see now with gameplay, what do you think of the voiced characters, fully voiced player characters, and do you think that will be a feature in the next Elder Scrolls game?
Okay. Do I think it's a feature? It will be a feature in the next Elder Scrolls game. I do. I think it definitely is now. I don't think there's any turning back from that. But for me, what I've seen is that a lot of times it kind of improves the amount of options you've got, especially when you're talking to random people.
Mm-hmm.
It improves that. But the worst thing about it for me is that on the main story, the main kind of times, it minimises the amount of options you've got. Like, I remember times in Skyrim when I'd be scrolling through all the different options I could get to see. And I've like 10 to like 15 options. Now you can only get that 4.
Yeah.
It kind of minimises that.
That annoys me slightly as well, because I wonder if that was a choice to just kind of minimise the amount of voice acting.
Yeah.
Or something. But yeah, that does kind of grate on me slightly. It's kind of like, but I want to ask more.
Yeah, it's like Dragon Age, in Dragon Age, in Inquisition, there's like an investigate thing. You could ask so much stuff. And there was like 12 different voices in that game. Like, the voice acting that they did was incredible in that game.
Yeah. No, that's a great thing about BioWare, just across the board, is their attention to detail. Anything you say is very different.
Yeah.
Whereas with, I think, Fallout can have very different results. Whereas with Fallout, whatever you say, he'll have a special the person you're speaking to will have a special thing where they'll respond to directly that bit, and then they'll go on to say exactly what they would have said if you picked any of the other options.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the same with Skyrim, except with when you're asking questions and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and people might go like mad at me in the comments saying, "No, but you said it was okay in The Witcher. Why is it not okay in Fallout?" Because in The Witcher you've got like a few options because you're playing that character. You're playing Geralt. He's got in that situation, you need to say the likelihood of 3 or 4 different things. In a Fallout or an Elder Scrolls game or whatever, you're playing your character, the character that you want to create, and having more options makes it better.
Yeah, they're you. You're not playing that certain character. You're playing yourself.
Yeah.
With BioWare, you're playing the Warden, you're playing Hawk and the Inquisitor, and you're playing Shepard in Mass Effect. And in Witcher, you're playing Geralt.
Yeah.
Whereas with Fallout and Elder Scrolls, you've created your character. You've got him to look exactly as you want him to look. Maybe even he looks like you. And then to have a stranger's voice come out, that's quite jarring, I think. And then, a third question. Do you think then, in the next Elder Scrolls game, because obviously I don't think they're going to suddenly turn around and go, oh, you can only play as one race.
Oh, Jesus, no, I don't think that's going to happen.
No. Do you think they'll give you... they'll change the voice actors for each race? So, like Argonian and Khajiit, you'll have kind of a tigery kind of voice.
Yeah, I think there's going to be... Yeah, like a lot... I'll kind of do what they did with... Khajiit, or those Khajiit that spoke in Skyrim and Elder Scrolls Online, you could get... I think they'll definitely do more voice actors and do more voice types, I think. And that doesn't necessarily mean getting a new voice actor in, but like changing the pitch on the voice and like some of the things I said, things like that. Mm-hmm. But I think Definitely. I think they have to. Christ, if you had one voice, a voice for an orc and a voice for a Nord and a voice for a Khajiit, that would get me a bit weird. But I'd prefer it if it kept no voices and kind of kept that cam that it had in Skyrim. To be honest, that's how I'd prefer it.
I would prefer that in
have a voice, but have so many more options. But that's like a lot of work to do for the voice actors. But some of the names make me laugh in Fallout. Do you know when it reads them out? Like it says fucker and boobies as a name. Which they just understand who the fans are, don't they?
Yeah, that is great. That is very funny. Yeah, no, I think if you want to see more of that, I think GameSpot did a thing where they showed you all the stupid names that Cornforth could say.
Yeah,
which is that's really funny. And they know how the fans think. I think.
Yeah. So, you got anything more to add on Fallout?
You asked me that once.
Yeah.
that was a big mistake. Because 20 minutes later. But I'm pretty much done.
Okay, yeah. So, definitely talk about it again in a couple of weeks' time when I finally get to play it, and it's probably going to be the talking topic for quite a while on the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Tomb Raider came out, and they've been getting good reviews, like mainly 8s and 9s across the board. I think people kind of been, pleasantly surprised by it. Like, even though it probably didn't sell as well as it could have if they put it out another time.
Yeah.
But
I suppose it was now or never, really.
Because it was,
this is for any, I think, franchise that's not well established. For any franchise that's not Call of Duty, Fallout, Halo. Those kind of really big ones. Whereas I think Tomb Raider is kind of really, finding its footing again.
Yeah, Tomb Raider is iconic, but it doesn't have as big as like an urge to play. I'd say, like everyone sees and go, oh, cool, Tomb Raider. Yeah. But like not enough to go like, oh yeah, definitely Tomb Raider. Cannot wait to get that new game, kind of thing. They've obviously got that fan base. They've got quite a big hardcore fan base. It's just for the general people are not going to have that feeling to play it as much as they would with Fallout. It's just a fact. Yeah,
it's just back in the 1990s and back when you were playing PS1. He's still going on about Fallout, Jesus. Yeah. Tomb Raider was the in thing. Everyone who was anyone played Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
And then when I played it, I played one of them. I can't remember which one it was called, because there's been so many. But I played one of them. It wasn't a PS1 one. It was one for PS2. I played it probably 2012, around that time. This was back when Tomb Raider, the newest, the reboot was coming out. And I just couldn't see the appeal. I just didn't really get it. I didn't think it was that great.
Yeah.
I think the old Tomb Raider, the classic Tomb Raider, was of its time, and this Tomb Raider is trying to appeal to a new fan base.
Yeah.
And one that maybe is not particularly interested in new IPs, but I think is starting to kind of gain an interest in it because it's earned a sequel. Because the first one was supposed to be quite good.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I believe so.
Yeah,
I've heard a lot about it. Like, I'll be honest. Like, looking at Tomb Raider, and I've seen quite a bit of stuff on it over this past few days. I've been very impressed by it.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
The look of it, I think it looks incredible. Like that blizzard storm. Have you seen that blizzard storm when she's walking across the cliff? Yeah. And the wind effects and everything looks fantastic. And I'm so glad it's a timed exclusive, not a full-on exclusive, because I'm really want to play this on PS4.
Yeah.
It's probably going to come out next year sometime. But yeah, definitely, I'm in to be able to play that game because it looks great.
Yeah, no, me too. Actually, I'm pretty interested in it, and I think it's one of those games that I will look at when I get next gen.
Yeah.
Because obviously I don't want to get the. I think they've made a 360 release. Haven't
they have made a 360 release, yeah.
Yeah,
and it doesn't look that bad, to be honest. It's not as good, but.
Yeah, but by this point you don't want to be looking at getting the 360 version.
No.
It's like they released the 360 version of Black Ops 3 and it's only got online. Yeah. It's not got any kind of campaign. Why would you want to buy that? That's only half a game.
Yeah.
So by this point, I think I'm still surprised. By this point, they're making previous gen games actually at all, because when they made the transition from PS2 to PS3 or Xbox to Xbox 360, they just stopped.
I don't agree. I think they made PS2 to PS3 kind of like a long time after.
No, they made a couple like FIFA.
No, but even solid games like well, the like Oblivion went on the old Xbox and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But like,
I heard. But that came out.
07.
That came out in 2007, and the PS3. The PS3 came out a lot later than the 360, didn't it? So
I believe PS3 came out in 2000. Oh, the PS3 came out. When did the PS3 come out? Did the PS3 come out? Was it PS3 was out in November 11th, 2006?
Right. I don't know, maybe. But But by this point, it's been what, 4 years since the next gen came out? Is that right?
Oh, it's 2.
It's 2.
Yeah.
Really?
2. Yeah. Well,
Jesus,
is it 2 or 3?
felt a lot longer. I think
it 2
it's
or 3?
3, actually. I think it's 3. Yeah.
It is 3.
Yeah. Right. Well, I'm getting my dates mixed up today.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway, it's just like with a year, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't, that's no problem. But it's 3 years now.
Yeah.
It's 3 years, and they're still making 360 games and PS3 games. That baffles me. I don't know why they're still doing that. Go for broke and develop on the next gen.
It was 2 years, by the way. It was November 15th, 2013.
Oh.
And November 29th in Europe.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
My dates are really mixed up. But anyway, it feels like a lot longer.
Well, I thought it was like not long ago, 2 or 3 years ago, because I played it at the very first Eurogamer I went to.
Yeah.
That's the reason we went. That and Elder was online. So I remembered it was like that Christmas time when it came out, and it was like, was it 2 or 3 years ago when it was the first one? But yeah. So yeah, like, but I'm kind of. Are you kind of surprised by how well received it was?
I'm not surprised because I did think it looked like a genuinely good game. I'm just kind of surprised that.
Did he got as? I'm kind of surprised. I thought he looked good, but I'm surprised that he got like 9s across the board.
Yeah, me too. I'm surprised that it did so well. I mean, I knew it was going to be good because I think it had gotten a lot of coverage, and it had been that kind of breakout kind of thing where everyone had gone, wow, this is actually pretty intense. This is actually pretty good. So I knew it was going to be well received. I just didn't know how well received, and that was quite a shock to see 9s. To see it matching in terms of reviews, sometimes Fallout reviews.
It's what Metacritic score is 86. Fallout's was 87, so pretty much almost matching it.
Yeah. There you go. So yeah. I was. Yeah. So I suppose I was quite surprised, but yeah, I think definitely it's a game that I want to take a look at, and actually, it's a game that makes me want to go back and buy Tomb Raider 2013. So
yeah,
I might just do that actually.
Should we talk about the Mass Effect trailer with nothing?
Connor. Right, okay. Well, I'll talk briefly about it. I'll tell you what I saw. Because there were things there, Connor. Okay, so for those who haven't seen it, it was N7 Day. That's Mass Effect Day, November 7th. And BioWare, God, my words today. Use your words, Nathan. BioWare released a new trailer for Mass Effect. It was more a kind of teaser, really, for Mass Effect Andromeda. And it features Femshep, Jennifer Hale, doing voiceover work, basically narrating, talking about human exploration, particularly as it relates to space travel. And about humanity pushing out and reaching beyond, and about how
bullshit,
fear of failure, emotive, and it was pretty good, It was interesting. It gives us I think a window as to what the spin Mass Effect Andromeda is going to be taking, and I think that is one that is going to much closely resemble the original Mass Effect game.
Yeah.
Mass Effect 1, which was all about exploration and finding things and looking out and going and landing on strange planets and hostile environments and things like that. And, it was a great idea, and when I'm describing it to you, I'm sure it sounds pretty interesting. It just doesn't come off like that, and actually the planets that you land on are all barren. there's nothing there except in 4 corners. And when you drive in the all-terrain vehicle, it's actually floaty and a bit crap. And so it didn't really come off. But in Andromeda, with the new system, I think, with the new consoles, with the new updated, I think everything, I think they're going to be able to pull off what they originally envisioned with Mass Effect 1. And I think for that reason, it's going to be much more open than particularly Mass Effect 2 and 3. So that's going to be interesting. Also, if you get a look at the ship at the end, which I believe was called the Tempest, as it was leaving the Milky Way galaxy, that, interestingly, to me anyway, seemed to resemble Reaper technology.
Which is?
Reapers are the ancient alien bad guys in Mass Effect, coming to wipe out all life. So if that's the case, then I think we can maybe assume, given that it's Shepard is the one who's sending the ship off, that this game will probably start anyway during the events of Mass Effect 3.
Okay.
This is when Shepard, has gained his/her prestige, and everybody's looking to him/her as a hero who's going to save them all. And Shepard is very much in charge. So what it looks like is some kind of ship carrying, maybe all the races. So it doesn't just look like Alliance technology. It looks like it's been united with a lot of Reaper tech and a lot of other things. So I think that could maybe suggest that it's a colony ship full of different races. So it's a contingency plan. If humanity or all the races in the galaxy get wiped out, then that ship is going to go, and that's going to find a new home in Andromeda. I was really excited when I saw it. I mean, I know.
Sounded, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, for you, it was. I think you're right. It must have been a kind of trailer of nothing. It's kind of, what is that even about?
It's just that, I don't know, with trailers that a series that I don't really understand. The best way to sell me on it is gameplay.
Yeah,
And
sorry, go on.
It's nothing against when you're a fan of the series, you'll be able to pick stuff out. And that trailer was designed for the Mass Effect fans, but
absolutely, that's why they released it on N7 Day at a fan meetup thing. So it was designed purely for fans. So you're right, it's not going to bring anyone else in.
No.
I don't think, and no one who's not played Mass Effect before and not loved Mass Effect is going to go, oh wow, that looks amazing, because it's not that. And there's been some talk, among fan bases about, wait, does this mean that Fem Shep is now canon and that you were supposed to play as her and that she's going to be the only, if Shepard is in the game at all, which I highly doubt, if Shepard's in the game at all, is it only going to be Fem Shep? No, I don't think that's the case, because...
there was this bullshit with Fallout, remember? When it was the E3, it's like, oh, you can only be a man because you only heard a man in the trailer. Calm down,
it's just... Let's be honest here. Let's see why they did it. Jennifer Hale has a nicer voice. She just does.
Yeah, and people always try to dissect too much into things now.
Yeah, I think no, that's looking too much into it. Just because you can't hear Mark Meir, and does that mean he's not going to be he's not the canon Shepard? He was in all of the trailers,
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter. It's not really important. The fact is, she's got a nice voice. She voices it really well, to be fair, and her, for some reason, I've just always associated that, I think, with Mark Meir, he just has this kind of army kind of Starship Troopers kind of voice where it works best in a firefight.
Yeah.
But when you're actually asking questions and talking to people, it can sometimes come off as a bit static.
Yeah.
Whereas Jennifer Hale is actually the opposite, and in a firefight, her voice is not that impressive.
Yeah.
So it depends how you like to. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day, is what I'm trying to say. But suffice to say, I really liked it. I was really, really, really excited for it. And I really enjoyed it. So
okay.
I watched it 3 times.
Okay.
I can tell you, Yeah, I'm only going to get the game 3 times and probably collector's edition and rant about it on the forums. So
Yeah. So should we talk about the Steam link?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So have you got any thoughts on it?
Yeah, well, a couple actually. My first thought is, damn, I get a gaming PC. I just thought it's interesting to me that we're seeing more and more from Steam a foray into the console market.
Yeah, I think they just want to try to take everything away from Microsoft.
I think they're going to succeed. To be honest, I think this is new technology, and I think it's only going to really appeal to hardcore PC gamers who have got really, really expensive rigs.
Yeah.
Really expensive setups. But that technology is only going to improve with age, with time, with new developments. And after a while, I think, particularly with things like the Steam, the box they've just released, the console.
Yeah, Steam Machine, yeah.
Yeah, that's the Steam Machine. With that, it's only going to, it's only going to gain more publicity. And I think not only Microsoft, but I think Sony, I think they're going to take it away from Sony as well eventually. Because I think we've been talking about it in the past, haven't we? With PC gaming,
it's growing. It's always been better.
Ahead. They're always, and even now, when PC had to play catch up in the previous gen, even now console on the next gen are behind already, in terms of graphics. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. I think you might have something to say about it, but let's see. What do you think?
I think it's cool. I think it's like I know that at times it's not working, swimmingly well, but it's going to reach a point where eventually this is going to be, reach that 1080 60 frames per second, what PC gamers see as the standard, for games now. But do I think it's going to take a lot of the stuff away from Microsoft and Sony? I don't. I think the people that are going to be getting this is people, PC, the gaming community for PC is always growing, and that's because the gaming community as a whole is growing. Mm-hmm. So, because I think mainly the majority of the people that buy PS4s are people playing Call of Duty, FIFA, the kind of casual experiences, maybe the odd AAA game like Far Cry or something like that, that kind of thing. And then people, I never see them going to get a PC. I think they're just content with getting their kind of much lower priced console and play it kind of, well, to be honest, quite frequently. I've got friends that only play FIFA all year and they get about 600-700 hours out of it. Fair play to them if you can get that much money out of the game. You get that much value out of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I personally do not see all them kind of people going over to PC. I think them console market is going to stay as it is. What I do see in the future though is PS4 and Xbox, whatever. No, well, the consoles are going to be going more and more casual, and the PC kind of taking more of the hardcore experiences. That's kind of what I see happening, and not more the hardcore gamers going over there.
Like the annualized releases, I could see going to consoles. Like the Assassin's Creeds, the Call of Duties, the FIFAs.
Yeah, because to be honest, them kind of games don't really have as big of a market on PC. Call of Duty, it does have a bit every year, but it doesn't have as much of a long-lasting player base as it does on console. Same with FIFA.
Yeah. Well, with console, it's instantly more accessible.
Yeah.
And I think the Steam Machine is going the way to making Steam more accessible, but still, it's got a long way to go. With console, you go out, you buy one, you plug it in
and play.
You put the disc in, and then you go.
And then you download the 3 patches that the developers put out on day one, and then you go.
And then you install it if you're playing Xbox, and then you wait for 3 hours for it to install, only to discover that you can't play online because you haven't got the right patch, and that you have to go to different places to get the right patch. And
then 3 days later, you play.
Eventually you get to play. Whereas with PC, it involves a lot of setup. And it involves a lot of clicks and tabs and buying.
A lot of faffing.
A lot of faffing. I mean, if you don't know if you don't know your graphics card or your whatever, when you're a PC gamer, then you kind of up shit creek without a paddle. You have to be much more involved and much more engaged than a lot of people are. I had someone someone asking me, could I on my laptop play the new Rise of the Tomb Raider game? And I was like,
no.
If you just want, like
one frame a second, yeah.
If you just want stills to just look at the pretty scenery, then yes, I suppose you could.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredibly expensive, and for that reason carries with it a lot of complications.
It does, yeah. And always constant need for updates.
Yeah. Yeah. But with the Steam Link and the Steam machine, I think we're seeing a lot of kind of moves towards simplifying it slightly.
Yeah, they're trying to appeal to casual gamers, but I don't think people are going to be leaving the PS4 to get this Steam machine in this generation.
No, definitely not. No, it's got a lot of work to do, but I think eventually it could be a very well-known thing.
Yeah, eventually. We'll see. We'll see what the future holds.
Yeah.
But, like, I know for a fact that when I get my PC next year, the amount of research that I'm going to be doing before I get it is going to be insane. What is what? What do I need here? I know George is going to help me and kind of give me briefs, but, you've got to know what you've got to know what games it can handle. So to know that you're not wasting money at the end of the day.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That was my biggest problem when I first started, playing with Steam and that kind of thing. Is that I had it's not for casuals, and I was going about still am a casual. It's like I go around and I just pick it up and just plug it in, and that's it. I play.
Yeah.
Whereas with Steam, I had to be conscious of the size of my graphics card or the size of my RAM or whatever, and that thing confused me. So I was downloading games that my PC just couldn't handle.
Yeah.
So it was I was wasting a lot of money.
Okay. So should we go into the questions?
Mm-hmm.
So would you like to read the first one, or shall I? I've just sent you them on Skype.
Yeah, I got them here. Do you want me to do it?
You go ahead.
Okay. From Stephen B. What do you guys think of people who get review codes and leaking gameplay, and Shatner for the win?
Shatner for the win.
Remember that in your questions. Otherwise, Conor will give you a temp ban.
Yeah, so, but I think this is going to go in kind of coincide with Fallout 4, because a lot of people who had review code for that, release gameplay days before, not necessarily on YouTube, but on other sites. There was one of like walking around the map.
Pornhub.
But the one on Pornhub.
I wanted to see Fallout 4, but not that badly.
Yeah, I love the title on it. It was like "sexy man in tights," going around shooting his load or something like that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I've got some kind of strong opinions on this. What do you think?
No, you go first.
Okay, then. Okay, so what I think about is, in the gaming community, the press has kind of been vying for years and years to be able to get review codes early so they could get the reviews out to go for the consumer. Because, I don't know if you noticed, but like 5 or 6 years ago, it was very much unheard of for people to get early access to games, review codes for games. Now, it's like the norm, and if they don't give it, they're slagged off for it. And I think events like these that happen, break down the relationship between reviewer or press and the developer. That then enforces what happened with Assassin's Creed and Shadow of Mordor, making more embargoes and more embargoes to stop this stuff coming out so that they can take it out legally, which isn't good for anyone at the end of the day. Or giving them code a day before release, which what's the need? You want them reviews as soon as you can, so that you can judge for yourself if you can be a sensible consumer.
And also for a developer, you want those reviews as soon as possible because you want to know what you can fix.
Yeah, but you don't want your game to be going you don't want. I know some people have sold codes to dodgy Korean games websites, and then and then they sell them codes onwards. Use your code for reviews. Don't leak gameplay. I know people want to see it, and you'll get your moment in the light. But the steps that the gaming community going towards this is, I don't know if you know, but I was listening to Total Biscuit once, but he was telling me that he wasn't telling me, he was telling the audience that there's this thing called the blacklist. So whenever something like a reviewer breaks an embargo, a reviewer does something like this, leaks gameplay, or doesn't use his key for good, you go into this blacklist, and all the people on the blacklist do not get sent any more review codes for anything.
Yeah.
So once you break something once, you don't get the chance to break anything ever again, which is definitely a great thing to do. Definitely worthwhile. But it just kind of upsets me whenever stuff gets leaked from review codes, because it's not necessarily for them that I'm upset for. I'm upset for the honest people that I follow in the gaming industry that give me reviews or give me news and stuff. Yeah. Because it's breaking down their relationship and it's making it worse for them, which then makes it worse for us as viewers.
Yeah, you're damaging a lot of people's reputation, a lot of people's relationship with developers. Yeah. When you decide you want to publish something a little bit too early for whatever reason. Yeah, I have pretty much I have the same feelings as you. It's kind of, if you've signed an NDA, if you've signed a non-disclosure agreement,
you stick by it.
Yeah, you stick by it. You have put your name to paper to say that you will not do something, so don't do it. Not only is it illegal, but you're bound by your honour. You swore you wouldn't do something, so don't do it. Yeah. And if there is a problem, or if you foresee, if you think, well, this feature's in the game, I really don't like that. That's something people should know about. But I signed the NDA. I can't. Yeah. I have to tell developers. I should tell the developers, let them do something about it, and then bide my time. Yeah. Be honest and be honourable about it.
There is, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with you. I don't really subscribe to that belief that if there is a problem with the game, and if there's like a serious issue that fans need to be aware of, then then reviewers or testers or whatever, people with early codes have a right to and a responsibility to take action and let the gamers know about that. The gamers aren't the one who are going to change the game. The developers are. Yeah. And yes, gamers can sometimes influence the developers in changing it, but it's the developers that make the decision.
I'll be honest. I've got a counterpoint to that. What else that make when you've done your point?
I'm finished.
Okay. So for me, I think that like you say, if there's something wrong with the game or something that they've done wrong to the reviewer, so let's say Warner Brothers with Shadow of Mordor, saying you can put a review out before release as long as it's a good review. Yeah. Then I think these outlets have got a right to make the consumer know that these reviews may not be entirely true.
Yeah,
I generally believe that, but and then I think
I believe
also,
that. I'm talking about in terms of game content.
Okay, well, the gaming content. Okay, gaming content. I think that also. I think it's one thing they should do. I know that they're in direct. These people are in direct email with the developer. These are all things that like betas are for. Send them feedback, like we did with Devilian. We sent them feedback on this podcast and stuff to say what you should do with your game. But then I also think if the game has come out and then you put that into your review and the gamers know about that, I don't see a problem with that personally. I think that it's good to bring it up to before someone buys this game. This is a problem with gameplay. It's not running well. The developer needs to change this, needs to patch it. And I think the more people that go on about it, the more likely they are to change it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've got no problem in reviews if it's a review.
You know, if they're breaking NDA to get that stuff out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm talking about like this guy Steven said. It's like if they're leaking gameplay. If they're saying, look, I know I've signed this NDA and it's like 6 months before this new game comes out, but I'm going to put this gameplay up anyway. Yeah. And it's not always for that reason of this is a real problem. This game is a real problem. This game is going to be bad. You guys should be warned about that. Sometimes it is just as simple as I want to get views.
I think that's it 9 times out of 10. To get views, to get the ad money in. I think that's what it is most of the time, and I completely agree with that. Yeah. Do not break NDA under any circumstance. If you've got any stressful points to make a cool video about it and release it when the NDA goes up, because then people are going to hear about it more than likely before release of the game, and it's all good. It's all good then. There's no, and then you probably, even if you get access to release something before release, you'll still get tons more views than what you'd get if you released it after release.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's I completely agree with you. I've got nothing really more to add.
Okay, so should we move on to the next question?
Yes, you read it out.
Chewy Turgan
great name.
Says, what are yours opinions on the Far Cry series? Plus Shanna for the win. So we've got kind of like different stances on this because you've played Far Cry 3 and I've played Far Cry 4.
Yeah.
I haven't played Far Cry 1, 2, or 3.
I have not played Far Cry. I have not played anything before Far Cry 3 except for one of the Wii games, which I thought was dreadful.
Okay.
But, yeah. You go first.
Okay, so
Far Cry 4.
I enjoy Far Cry 4, but what I understand of it is that it's pretty much a direct clone of Far Cry 3.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed some of the characters in there. You know, I enjoyed the guy who's like worshipping guns. Mm-hmm. And I enjoy Pagan Min. I've always seen it as, you know, the villain is always the coolest character in them games.
Yep.
I couldn't tell you what the main protagonist's name was.
AJ Gale.
Yeah, that's his name.
RJ Garley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it depends. If you want to say RJ, you say RJ. I don't. RJ.
Yeah, but I thought that the scenery of the game was beautiful. Like the mountain in the background that was like constantly in the background looks phenomenal.
Yep.
There was so many times when I played that game and I just stop and look around. I personally really enjoyed Far Cry 4. It was the best game I played at Eurogamer 2 years ago. Before it came out, I played that and I was like, I really want to get that game. It's really good. I played through it and it was great. You know, does it make me want to play Far Cry 3? It does. Will I play it sometime? Probably on the PC when I get a new one. Probably something that I'd put on the list. But yeah, it's a cool series. I really enjoyed riding my elephant Betsy.
You called it Betsy?
You could name it, yeah. You could name your elephant, yeah. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. What's your opinions on them? Oh shit! Let me finish off your point before you go. But I am worried that Far Cry is going to become this annualized series where it becomes, you know, whitewash. People kind of get bored of it.
Yeah, but Assassin's Creed style.
It does, but at the same time, it could also be that kind of franchise that you come back to, which is just madness, and you have a great time with it every time. It could be.
Because it's trying different things. Yeah. I mean, and that I think is what I love about Far Cry. You know, I've played Far Cry 3, and I've been keeping a close eye on Far Cry 4 and Primal and that kind of thing. Obviously, Primal being the next one that's coming out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and that's one of the things I like about it is it could do anything. It could be anything it wanted to. You know, they had Blood Dragon for Far Cry 3, which was the DLC.
Which was great, you know.
Yeah, which was great, fantastic, and crazy and stupid, and nothing like Far Cry 3, the actual game. You know, and then you got Far Cry 4, which is kind of stylistically similar. But you know, you could do. I think one of the ones that people asked for the next Far Cry game was Outer Space.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah, you could do anything.
Yeah, just like let's be honest. With Far Cry, did you really take the story seriously?
Not with Far Cry 4, I didn't.
I did with Far
Cry 3.
Okay, so you do with Far Cry 3. That with me for Far Cry 4, I didn't. I just enjoyed the game, driving around, shooting shit up, blowing crap up, rampaging with my elephant.
Yeah.
Which, for me, it was this game of craziness, and I'd love it to go like complete crazy. In the games that are coming out, you know, like I don't know. In this new one, they've got find a way to get time traveling or something, and go around running around with a bazooka shooting down dinosaurs. That'd be cool. Yeah,
that would be fantastic, and it would be a sign that it doesn't take itself too seriously, and it doesn't depend on this kind of this attempt to be realistic.
Yeah,
you know, like I think Assassin's Creed is going down now.
Yeah, we don't want that. We just want this kind of crazy epic experience that we can just have a laugh with for 15-20 hours and then leave.
Yeah, and I tell you what I don't want as well is for them to try and tie it into the rest of the Ubisoft properties.
Yeah, which I get a feeling that they're trying to do with Watch Dogs, even though I don't think they'll make a Watch Dogs 2.
You don't think they're going to make a Watch Dogs 2?
I don't think they are, no. Like, if you ask me when release come out with how much they sold, I think they would, but with how quiet they've gone on that series, like they're not even talking. They're trying to pretend that it doesn't exist. I think they'll leave it.
I don't know. I think it's. It's difficult to say, but I think I don't think Ubisoft is the kind of company that just lets anything lie. You know, if it can make money, then they'll reanimate its corpse.
It could, but could this one make as much money?
Not. New one. Well, I think it could make some money.
The last one was incredibly hyped because it was a new IP that looked brand new with hacking and everything. Yeah. And then it come out and people realised it was just terrible.
Yeah. And it got a lot of bad press, and Ubisoft got a lot of bad... It was a bad year for Ubisoft, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Like, this year has gone kind of well so far. Like, it's not been like a terrible year, but it's not been like the best year either.
It's not been stellar, which I suppose is the best thing they could hope for at this point. It's not.
Like people aren't exactly slagging them off any like this year. So there's not been really anything that's gone bad. Like what games have they had this year? They've had Just Dance, yay. They had Assassin's Creed Syndicate, didn't they?
Yeah, which got good reviews.
And they had the Rainbow Six Siege beta, which went well.
Yep. Is it? They don't do the Division, do they?
They do, but that's out next year.
Yeah, but they've had betas and things, haven't they?
Yeah, I believe so. Oh, there was Might and Magic Heroes 7.
Right.
There was that. That kind of got. Well, they kind of got average reviews, but like it didn't. Okay, he didn't really have anything wrong with it as the, as a negative thing to slag off about with.
Yeah.
Critically, but
nothing wrong, but nothing to love.
Yeah, they had Grow Home, which went down incredibly well. It got like 9 out of 10s across the board. 8 and 9s. It got a few 10s as well as an indie game. They've been doing a few of them recently. Like Child of Light, Transistor.
Yep.
The Mighty Quest for Epic Loot. That was another one that came out that did well. To be honest, it's not been the worst year for Ubisoft. It could be a lot better, but it could have been a lot worse. Like we look at 2014, Watch Dogs fail.
Yep.
Unity failed. They had South Park, which went well.
Yep.
But Assassin's Creed Rogue, which didn't go well. The Crew didn't go well.
No.
Just Dance did Just Dance.
Yeah. Just Dance was just it.
The only really good games that they had last year was the 2 indie games, Valiant Hearts and Child of Light.
And Far Cry 4.
Well, and Far Cry 4, yeah, Far Cry 4. Yeah. But even then, that got a little bit of stick for its PC stuff.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? Yeah, I remember that, because it turned out it wasn't actually Far Cry 4 that people were buying.
Yeah.
They were buying some kind of cheap knockoff.
Yeah.
Yeah. That wasn't great. Even then, even when they did good, they did bad.
Yeah.
So and it just kind of So I wouldn't like it to go down that kind of route.
Nor would I.
Where they suddenly tried to turn it round and make it so that it's part of that whole world, and so that you're running round in first person, middle of a giant city,
and you're like, oh shit, it's Ezio.
Yeah. Oh shit, it's the Templars.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I recognise that guy from Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
And oh no, just please don't do that. You know,
I don't mind Easter eggs.
I don't mind that. Those are actually, sometimes they can be quite fun.
Yeah,
they're quite funny. But yeah, I really wouldn't like it if they built this kind of Marvel style expanded world. But as for Far Cry 3, I love it. Yeah. I think it's phenomenal. Just in terms of story. I love the story. I think the story is it's a real example of how video games can be considered art. And I know we've talked about it before, but yeah, I think it's better than Far Cry 4 in terms of story. And obviously, I've not played Far Cry 4 to compare the two directly. But if it's exactly the same in terms of gameplay and it's just graphics that it's got going for it, I would play Far Cry 3 over 4 any day.
Yeah, well, I will say one of my favourite videos from Total Biscuit was on Far Cry 3. He was talking about something boring about like how the shooting is or something like that, and how the gun recoils and everything. And then a shark just drags him into the water when he's just walking around past, and it's like that. What sums this game up? And he shit himself. It was hilarious. So, should we go to the last question for the gaming? Yeah. Zara P says, "Would you guys ever play a MOBA, which is multiplayer online battle arena? Not necessarily Dota or League of Legends, but something like Smite, and Shatner for the win." Okay, before we go into it, I think MOBA is the stupidest term ever. Multiplayer online battle arena. That means like a fighting game's a MOBA. Or FIFA. That's a multiplayer game online, which is playing in an arena. Yeah. It's basically, it's basically Dota was the very first one of these MOBAs, and I think the best way to call them is Dota clones, or I don't know, what's the other game? We'll call them MOBAs for the time being, but I think the term's stupid.
Yeah,
I personally think so. But
it's not. It doesn't hit the ear right. But
it doesn't.
They've got to find a way to define them.
They do, yeah. Like, apparently, League of Legends, the people who made this term up when they put League of Legends out because they didn't really want to call it Dota clone or something like that.
Yeah.
They just went, oh, MOBA. Yeah.
And then they worked out what it stood for later.
Yeah. This is a MOBA. What's up? It's a multiplayer online battle arena. Yeah.
Despite the fact that's a complete tautology, it just should be a MOBA. Moa.
Yeah, Moa.
It's a battle arena. That makes no sense. It's an arena. Just arena.
Or multiplayer online. Okay, right.
Yeah, okay,
anyway.
let's stop messing around with that. Would we actually play one? I would. I just don't know how to do it. You know, it looks ridiculously complicated.
Yeah.
I mean, insanely complicated. And it looks like I would have no idea what's going on before I would get my ass handed to me. And by that point, I would go, no, fuck it. No, I'm not interested. And walk away.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I'd probably play a new one. You know, when it came out, I'd probably play it. But they don't seem to make many MOBAs.
They make quite a lot. They make more than you'd think, but they just fail because Dota and League are so so popular. I think the most recent one that came out was like a month ago. Sins of a Dark Age came out,
right?
And we look at their Steam charts. 600 people playing it now. 600 people compared to the 20,000 it played when release. You know, it's because I've played two. Okay, I played League of Legends for a little bit, and because I had a few friends at college who played it, and I played a little bit of Infinite Crisis. Yeah. Infinite Crisis is shut down now, doesn't exist, because I played it a year ago and I thought it was kind of cool. I'll play a bit more of it. But when I played League, I was playing it with people who've played it non-stop and went to LCS and they went to tournaments and stuff and watched all the esports and everything. They're full in on it, and I just kept getting thrashed and beaten, and I was just like, when do you get good at this? And I was like, after about 800 to 1,000 hours, you start getting good. And I was just like, fuck that. I was like,
no, I'm not investing that amount of time.
And he's like, I'd rather play some other stuff, in that time. And, people who enjoy playing them really love playing them. And there's a reason why League of Legends is the most popular game in the world right now.
Yeah.
Of all them people in Asia that play them all the time, the esports is continually growing, which is great for the gaming industry. But, it's just a shame that really the only one that is kind of trying to come against it and really stood well is Heroes of the Storm in my eyes, and that's because it's kind of like, I don't know.
But Smite, I heard
Smite's doing on the Xbox One because it's one on the Xbox, but I don't think it's doing too well on the PC. Yeah. But Heroes of the Storm has been labelled by people in these communities as the Smash Brothers of the Dota clones kind of thing.
Right.
If that's something that you can go into, have a laugh, not too serious. Because all I remember of really my League of Legends gaming time was getting slaughtered by people that were supposedly on my team. Going it's like, you're fucking shit. It's like, do I have to come help you? Fuck you, kind of thing. It's like, you should do your job properly. And I was like, I'm all right. We're never playing this again.
Yeah.
Should we go to movies?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so Warcraft. The trailer came out at BlizzCon. And
yeah, you mean the trailer of nothing?
The trailer of nothing. Okay, then yeah. But I just want to say that I had no hype for this film before this trailer came out, and after playing World of Warcraft for so many years and having so many hours going into that game, seeing all this stuff in CG rendered stuff in real kind of looked like it was like a real world kind of thing, looks so cool. Seeing the floating city and the hippogriffs and seeing Baby Thrall. And seeing Orgrim and Stormwind, it was just so cool. But I want to talk to you, Nathan, first. What did you think of the trailer? Someone who's never... Have you ever played a Blizzard game?
I've never played a Blizzard game.
Someone who's never played a Blizzard game, nothing in the Warcraft universe. So all this stuff looked like, I don't know, bad guys fighting good guys in Fantasyland.
It looked completely alien to me.
Yeah.
I thought the CGI was really good. The CGI was really impressive. In fact, sometimes it looked just practical. I mean, it just looked like they literally put tusks or fangs or whatever, those bottom underbite things on just real people. It was really good CGI. And the film's not even finished yet, so there you go. The story looks kind of interesting, I suppose.
Kind of this isn't going off Warcraft 1 for people who don't know. And I never played Warcraft 1, but what I know of what happened in that, after playing, hearing about the bits of it in WoW, was that the orcs come through this thing called the Dark Portal because the world's kind of getting killed. Looks like it's getting killed by something called the Burning Legion, which is a thing that's going to be the new expansion of WoW, and has been kind of happening throughout the whole of World of Warcraft.
Yep.
And that they tried to escape, but the orcs kind of have a dispute with wanting to do it on their own or wanted to coincide with the humans, and they have a bit of a fight. and then the brown orcs, which are the good guy orcs, go with the people, and the people and the brown orcs go against the green orcs. And yeah, some of the people in it, like the main character in it is a guy called Lothar, and the king in the time of the first World of Warcraft expansion is called Lothar and is named after him for the stuff that he did.
Right. I see.
Yeah, and if they'd go into because what was rumored before is they were just going to go for the World of Warcraft stuff, but it seems like they're going from like Warcraft 1, 2, 3, the expansions, and then World of Warcraft on it. They're trying to make a bunch of films.
Yeah,
which
I think we were talking about before is good.
Yeah,
isn't it? That's a good idea. You know, that's a way I think of introducing the initiated and uninitiated alike.
Yeah,
is start off at the start.
Yeah,
literally where it all began.
Like for me, what struck me was obviously how good the orcs looked, but also how good the locations looked. I thought the locations looked phenomenal. I know
that is very true. They look very pretty.
Yeah, I know they built a lot of them. Because after watching it, I watched the Q&A panel at BlizzCon that was actually hosted by Jesse Cox.
Really?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he got asked to host it, and he was hilarious for the whole thing. Because he does a thing every year where he goes up to a panel. He just goes up, like a questionnaire is like a, question and answer thing at like Comic Con or whatever.
Yeah.
And he just asks like a stupid question, like what happened to this so and so side character, in a different game. And then it'd always be to like this guy called Jeff Conroy, who was a developer, and Jeff Conroy would go like, I don't know, and he'd just go, fuck you, Jeff, and he'd come back every year and ask a different question every single year for like 7 or 8 years. Yeah, and he was saying to joke about that, and it was a really good panel, and the cast members generally seemed excited. Apparently the lead guy is the guy in Vikings.
Okay.
He plays the main guy, and he's apparently using the same voice. But what some people have been getting, like the big Blizzard fans have been getting like the knickers in a twist about, is they're saying that I don't know if you know about World of Warcraft, but in every start of every expansion they have this cinematic, and the cinematic is always epic, and like it's incredible. It's like it's kind of
I've seen the newest one for Legion.
Yeah, that's kind of what they're always like. And people were saying, why not make the whole film like this kind of style? And the reason being because it would cost a serious amount of money. I mean, like the level of cost that will get is sensational. But also, and there was also saying that, because like basically in World of Warcraft in vanilla, when it came out, all these stuff was very bright and colourful. Like you saw a lot of hot pinks on people, dyes and everything. And then with the next expansion, they actually bought a Hollywood designer, like a Milan designer and fashion designer, to design, the colours to go on the outfits and everything, and basically swapped everything with brown. And it was brown and brown and brown and brown. And then there's a guy putting a little bit more colour in the last couple of expansions.
Yeah.
So the people saying like, why not make it as colourful as it was back then, and like why not get these massive shoulders? And it's like because they look stupid on like real people having these fucking huge soldiers like American footballers walking around,
shoulder pads.
Yeah, exactly. Just like I think they've got it at a good place. To be honest, I thought the film looked really good and got me wanting to see it personally. And I'm generally looking forward to seeing the film now. Like the story to me is something that I don't know a whole lot about, and like it's got characters that are familiar to the World of Warcraft story and everything that's happening. It looks like baby Thrall's going to be born, and he was the guy who goes into the basket like a
Moses.
Moses. Yeah,
Moses.
Yeah. Then his mum turns around and goes, "Oh, let's fuck some shit up," kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I saw that. I was like, lol.
Yeah.
To be fair, I am intrigued. And
to be honest, I think you kind of people are going to be ones that get like, the full benefit of it, because you don't really know about Warcraft. It's going to be like a whole new world to you, where you can really speculate on what's going to happen in the future ones. Yeah. Whereas really, I don't know all of it because I don't really know much about Warcraft lore, because I kind of think a lot of it's bullshit. But anyway, I kind of know bits of what happens here and there. I know what's going to happen to, say, Stormwind, for instance, and the floating city and everything.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I'm pretty interested in it myself, to be honest. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing more from that. Actually.
Yeah, it's going to be June next year. So 7 months away, yeah.
That's not far away.
It's not, yeah. Oh. Well, the film's kind of been it was first announced like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It's been a while in the making.
Yeah. So I can imagine Warcraft fans are reaching a critical mass now.
Yeah.
Like excitement. So yeah. Definitely.
So there's a Flash film coming out, which we all know, in I think it's 2017.
Yes, written by some guy who's known for zombie fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's coming out, and they've announced that it's going to be completely unconnected to the show, which I don't think
Bit
is
of a piss off.
Do you think it's a piss off? I'm not 100% surprised, to be honest. I was kind of expecting it.
I'm not surprised. I'm just kind of pissed off.
Okay. How come you pissed off?
Well, because...
Oh, can we quickly ask? I'll quickly ask you. Are you a fan of the show?
I am. Yeah. I like it.
Okay.
Quite surprised. I haven't seen much of it, but what I have seen, I've quite liked. You know? Yeah. I think it's genuinely good. I think it's okay. It's same with Arrow. You know, I think they're both very good. I know Arrow is quite different because he's not. It's kind of inspired by Green Arrow, but he's not exactly Green Arrow. Right? Yeah. You know, it's slightly different. But I think the reason it's kind of pissed me off slightly is because it just looks like DC are running before they can walk.
Okay.
It just looks like they've got so many unconnected different things, and now they're desperately trying to scrabble them all together. You know, to now all of a sudden turn around, yes, we're going to have a Flash movie and a Flash TV program, but neither of them are going to be connected, and both of them are going to, kind of divert, and so that just causes, for me anyway, because I sit down with my family and try to get them into superhero kind of things. If I'm sat with them, all of a sudden I'm faced with questions of, but that's Flash, but isn't Flash in the film? But isn't Flash in the isn't Flash in the film? And it's like, yeah, but it's a different Flash. Yeah, but that's Green Arrow, isn't he in that TV program as well? Yeah, different Green Arrow. Yeah, okay, but why? And I don't really see why they can't connect the two.
Yeah, it's going to feel weird if you watch the show.
Yeah.
And then watch it. Like, to people who don't watch it, it's going to be, it's not going to make a difference to you, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I'll be honest, I'm not the world's biggest fan of the show. Like, I started watching it when it first came out. I watched like 3 or 4 episodes, and then it just dacked off for me because I don't know what it was about it. I just found it a bit, I don't know, too cheesy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, with me, I can put up with that. I don't really mind that. Yeah. But it's with something like with Gotham, a program like Gotham. There's no sense of direction.
Yeah, no, that kind of run dry for me as well. Like when it started off, I was like, okay, this show's great, but then every episode kind of was the same.
Yeah, it's like, where are you going with this? Yeah. So I stopped after 16 episodes and haven't really wanted to pick it up since.
Yeah.
I just got bored.
Same with me with season 3 of Sherlock. Like, season 3 of Sherlock is probably the most fan service thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, it's all just fan service, whereas the other two are pretty serious.
Yeah.
This one's just more farcical and comedic.
Yeah, it's like I'll just give you an example. Like, when I say, all this stuff's happening, but the fans wanted, even though it makes no fucking sense at all. Yeah. But like the final episode of season 3, I started watching it, and then I paused it, left, and then finished it like weeks later. That's how much I cared about that season.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I think the problem with it is I saw season 3 actually before I saw season 1 and 2.
Okay. Yeah.
And I just kind of. I watched season 3 and thought, oh, this is actually pretty good. This is pretty funny. This is pretty lighthearted. Yeah, it's okay. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then I watched season 1 and 2 and I thought, how did you go from that
to that?
Yeah. And, the two are completely different.
Yeah.
It just goes. I think same for DC a little bit. Is that I don't know, when you start on that kind of fan service kind of thing, it just when it loses that sense of direction and just meanders a little bit.
Yeah, that it's just good. I'm looking forward to the films coming out because it definitely seems like there's going to be, I don't know, this kind of TV universe and a film universe kind of going on, which feels a bit strange. I'm going to be honest, but
I got to be honest. Actually, I'm starting to lose interest in the DC films.
Really?
Yeah. Because, no, not interest, but I'm starting to get a little bit more nervous around them. because they're suddenly announcing they're going to make 3 Batman films.
Yeah,
there's going to be a Wonder Woman film and a Green Arrow film and an Aquaman film, and they've suddenly announced all these movies they've got in the pipeline. They haven't even got Justice League off the ground. They haven't even got Batman versus Superman off the ground yet.
I will be honest though, I've got no problem with them making films for each of the people in the Justice League.
No, none whatsoever. No. I haven't either. They could all be really good. I don't know. I haven't seen anything yet. But unfortunately, right, with Iron Man and Incredible Hulk, and there was a sense it was evolving. And when they finally put into place Avengers, that was like the last piece of the puzzle. And you suddenly kind of looked at it and you thought, that all makes sense. Whereas these films, they were okay, but not great. Thor, Captain America, Iron Man 2 got...
I didn't even like Iron Man 3, to be honest with you.
No, I quite liked Iron Man 3. It wasn't the bad. It was the worst of the second of the phase 2. But it was it all slot into place. I could look at the characters and I could think, I know you, I know you, I know you, I know where you're all from, I know what's going on with all of you, and I know each of your motivations, and it's going to be interesting to see you all come together. Yeah. With Justice League, there's none of that. They're literally they're running in, they're trying to play catch up. They're basically, I think they're running before they walk. It takes a long time. I think it would take a long time and a lot of preparation to set up this movie universe. As it is, the problem they've got already is that they are behind in terms of, Marvel is on its 13th film in its shared universe. And they've all been, good, average to good,
Yeah, there's been some that have been really good and some that have been a bit shit, but
I'm thinking like the Iron Mans, the Hulk, so that have not been great. Whereas, they have evolved. I mean, I know a lot of people say they're a bit too samey. But I really don't see that. I think they're evolving and changing, and I think they're all. I
think people say that because of the style that the films have got.
Yeah, there is a certain style where it's a Marvel film, and it usually it's superpowers, and there's always a bad guy.
Yeah,
it's always that way. They never try a psychological thriller or a political drama. Although you could argue Captain America, I don't know, but whereas with, and they're all of the kind of consistently okay standard. Whereas with Man of Steel, that really divided people, and I'm going to be diplomatic, and I'm going to say that really divided people.
It did really divide people. You're correct. For me, I loved that film. I thought it was great, but when I spoke to you about it, you was like, it was all right. I'm not bothered. I'll be honest with you. I preferred that film, I'd say, than any other Marvel film that come out in the past few years. That's me. Everyone's got different tastes. It doesn't matter. But I really like that film, and to be honest, it's that film that's kind of got me a little bit kind of more excited than you are about the stuff that's coming up. Because I've seen that DC can do this, and I really like this thing that they're doing. I want to see if they can do that more from the other things. And I'm not going to, we're not going out and saying, oh, they're going to be bad before they come out. Because we don't know. We don't know.
No. And, I'm a DC fan. I love the comic books. I love the stories. And I do think if there's if there is any, kind of comic book franchise that has got the most legs, it's DC.
Yeah.
They've got so many amazing stories to go off that they could do brilliant, but at the minute I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, it's just, it's just worries that you've got at the minute,
Yeah,
same with me, I'm a bit worried that they're going to try and rush through it a bit too much. It's just...
I am worried that they'll rush. I'm worried that instead of doing the characters justice, like Wonder Woman is a fantastic character, really, really interesting. Who else? All of the kind of the seven. You got the Cyborg, fantastic. Aquaman, fantastic.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that film because Khal Drogo looks so freaking cool in his thing.
Yeah, Jason Momoa, it looks amazing. But and all of that. And instead, they're just going to throw them into a Justice League film.
Yeah.
And, for Batman versus Superman, there were all those rumours coming out about how we're going to get a cameo from Flash, a cameo from Aquaman, And even if those aren't true, and I'm not sure they are, that's worrying, I think each of the characters deserve their own film. They deserve their own chance to really shine in the spotlight. And I'm just not sure about the tone either. Like, I'm not sure that something like The Flash or something like Aquaman could suit this tone of Man of Steel, because the tone of Man of Steel was quite dark, actually. It was, and it just from the colour scheme as well. And I hated the colour scheme in Man of Steel. It was, really grey. It was all washed out and horrible looking, and and it was obvious that wasn't the original colour. It was actually used to look a lot brighter.
Oh yeah, but again, that's the difference between me and you. I know that I obviously knew that it looked different than what it was meant to look like, than what it looked like in real life. But again, I like that colour scheme and you didn't. There's differences in that film across the board for us too, isn't there?
Yeah, no, there is. I mean, when I saw it, when I first saw it, I thought it was just rubbish. I thought it was pants. But I've come to kind of appreciate it.
Yeah.
From the soundtrack, which is superb.
The soundtrack is probably my favourite superhero soundtrack, to be honest with you. I listen to that. I listen to it all the time in my own time. All the time.
Yeah, no, me too, because it's fantastic. Yeah. It's great, and it's got a lot of great feeling to it. You can remember these really awesome bits, and it has some fantastic individual scenes.
Yeah.
There was like the whole scene on Krypton with Russell Crowe.
I love that. I love the bus scene.
Yep, when he's pushing it out. I love the one where he sidewinds Zod. He just flies straight into him from the side. That was brilliant. Things like that. It has really great moments, but on the whole, when it comes together, I think it's a kind of 6, 7 out of 10 film. Whereas
I'd say it's a 9. I'd say it's a 9. Yeah, I really loved it.
And my kind of thing is I'm comparing that, because that's the starting point, obviously, for the DC universe. I'm comparing that to Iron Man, which was the start of the Marvel universe. Iron Man was a lot lighter, and it was kind of like you didn't have to... With Man of Steel, and this is a good thing, actually, you had to think. You were forced to engage with the level of destruction the two of them are causing, which had never been seen in a live-action Superman film before, just because of technology reasons. And you have to engage with that, and you have to think, God, this is ridiculous. That was all one man.
Yeah.
Whereas with Iron Man, it's a little bit lighter. You kind of brush over the fact that, he probably crushed hundreds of people.
Yeah,
and he's caused millions of property damage. And...
Yeah, so one of the pictures that I saw that made me laugh was it was a picture of SpongeBob and Patrick, and there was this destroyed city behind them. It was like, "We did it, Patrick. We saved the city." And then it says every Marvel film ever under it. Yeah, but but
there is that to it, but still with Iron Man, I could look at that and think that's a better jumping off point than Man of Steel, because at least with Iron Man, you know what you're going to get. It's kind of one foot in the past, with superhero films where you can do ridiculous things with no consequence, and one foot in the future, which is changing the superhero genre from being for nerds and people with no life to actually something that's kind of starting to become slightly kind of more acceptable.
Yeah.
And I just don't see Man of Steel doing that at the minute. I think you and I disagree, though.
We do disagree on that, It's like I said to you, we love both Marvel and DC,
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's a reason why we'll go see every film that both of them put out. But at this moment in time, that could change after the next film, after the next couple of films or whatever. But at this moment in time, I won't say excited, but I'm very much intrigued by what DC is going to put out. Yeah. And there's Marvel, it's like... I think that thing, knowing what to expect, kind of comes into it a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of know what to expect with Marvel. That's kind of why I'm a little bit not excited, because I'm going to go see, and I know I'm going to enjoy it. With the DC stuff, I can see this stuff kind of coming out, and I know a little bit what to expect. But on the whole, I don't know where they're going to go, because I don't really know any of the side stories or anything or backstory to many of these superheroes. The only thing I know is the old Superman films, the old Batman films and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm just intrigued to see these characters.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with you there. But I tell you what Marvel does quite well, though, is when it does that when it gives you that impression of know what to expect and that it's going to be the same thing, and then it deviates.
Yeah.
Where Ant-Man was actually far more like an espionage comedy.
Yeah.
like a heist comedy, and Captain America was more of a kind of political thriller.
Yeah.
And you walk out of Captain America, I did anyway, and I kind of went, I was not expecting that. That was a shock. It was
a lot better than I thought it was gonna be, to be honest with you. Captain America 2, I really enjoyed that. Ant-Man, I enjoyed that film. You probably enjoyed it more than I did. I thought they kind of overused the size humour a little bit, but I still
did too, to be honest.
I still enjoyed it. It was still I gave it when we walked out, I gave it a 7, I think 7 out of 10. It's I still enjoyed it. It's not like I come out with that was bad. I went to watch it twice actually. I went to watch it with another mate. So
Mm-hmm. Wait, you have other friends?
Yeah, I have other friends.
How did you do this?
So, we'll quickly go through these next couple of points, and then we'll go into the questions.
Yeah.
Because we haven't got much time left. So,
sorry, overran on that last one.
Yeah, it's alright. Yeah. So, a Star Wars fan was able to watch the Star Wars film before he tragically passed away. So, only him and a handful of other people have actually seen the film now, and he said it was really good, so people are excited for the film. But imagine if it ended on a cliffhanger for him.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Imagine it's been bad.
Yeah. Oh, God, yes.
That is a lot of pressure for JJ.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, and then the final thing is the Ant-Man writer is returning to write the sequel.
That's good, because as we've just said, Ant-Man was quite good.
Yeah,
we enjoyed it.
It was funny, and we really enjoyed it. So,
I hope he can kind of up the stakes for the next one.
Yeah.
Similarly with Guardians of the Galaxy, I hope James Gunn can make that a little bit kind of, take that a bit further. Cause,
I forgot Guardians of the Galaxy. That was a great film as well. I remember coming to you and I was like, I saw the first bit, and we actually left the cinema because I was with my cousin and my sister, and they hated it and they were nagging me. I'd never leave the cinema really, and I was just like, alright, it's a bit shit, let's leave. And then I watched it again, and like you said, once you've got all the way through, you look back on that first time and think, that wasn't too bad. And I was like, I kind of agree. But
you kind of look back at it with rose-tinted spectacles. It's kind of like, oh, that was so much better than it actually was. But, That first act was so much better than it actually was.
Yeah.
Overall, the film actually quite surprised me because it was really good.
It was, yeah.
I thought, it was a nice little twist, and that is kind of weirdly hard to believe that it's in the same universe as Captain America.
Yeah.
But again, there is possibility there. There is potential there. I can't imagine them crossing over, but they're going to have to, aren't they?
Yeah, at some point. I think they're in Civil War. I don't know. We'll see.
I think they're in Infinity Wars.
Infinity Wars. Not Civil War. Infinity Wars. That's what I was going to say. Yeah. Not Civil War's one out next year, isn't it?
The new Captain America, the last of the Captain America trilogy.
Yeah. So, should we go into the questions?
Oh, hang on.
I put them into Skype.
Thanks. Before we do that, we just got to talk. Did you watch K-19 The Widowmaker, Conor?
Oh, bollocks.
Did you do that?
I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry, all. Look, I forgot all about it. I'm going to have to watch it next week. I apologise to all the viewers and everyone concerned and all the families that are involved in this process. But I apologise strongly.
You need to apologise right now to Harrison Ford.
I'm sorry, Harrison Ford. I'm sorry, who's the other guys? Liam Neeson. And I'm sorry, William Shatner, for disappointing you, Your Holiness. Alright, I'm going to watch it next week. Definitely.
Okay, because I'd just like to point out, I watched Rocky.
You've watched Rocky, so I watch K-19. Do you want another film for me to watch?
Nah.
Alright, your homework's Rocky 2.
Okay, that's okay. I will stomach through Rocky 2 because I struggled with Rocky 1, just the original Rocky, because I thought it was so cheesy. Oh God, I had my head in hands at more than one moment. Just the training montage.
Oh, well, that's like iconic. That's really where the whole training montage in films kind of came around. That was the very first film to do it. Just to let you know
I know,
that.
but it was even then. Even if you take that kind of, it's cheesy now because it's been done so many times. Even if you take that out of it, it's still cheesy.
Oh yeah, it gets worse. There's one in Rocky 2 when he's got kids running with him and stuff all running up the stairs.
Oh, for God's sake!
Oh, but it's hilarious. It's like
the acting was so bad in some scenes, but so good in others. Stallone was really good.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
really good. There were others, but when Paulie was having his breakdown.
Yeah.
That was just bad.
Yeah.
Oh God, that was bad. I was like, oh God.
You're eventually gonna get through them all, and basically Rocky 4 he fights a Russian in the time of it, like, you know, there's like, you know, it's a bit knife on the knife edge between Russia and America at the time in real life. So he did a film where he fought a Russian, and at the end of it, well, Rocky obviously wins, and then he gives a speech, and he was like, this momentous speech, and then all the Russians applaud, and the Russian president applauds him, and everything like that. And there's a video that went up on College Humor of like how Rocky ended the Cold War, and it's so like he puts it on the timeline, he interviews and everything. And I was like, that night, and he's like speaking in Russian, Rocky made me cheer. I rang my wife up in Berlin, and I was like, I'm coming to see you. Rocky Balboa's into the Cold War. Yeah.
To be fair, right? To be fair, the fight against Apollo, once you got past all that kind of ridiculous showboating,
yeah,
that was actually pretty good.
Yeah, the best thing about it is that a lot of the boxing is actually real. They actually hit each other full on.
Yeah. No, I've heard that, but also Apollo was actually based on Muhammad Ali, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Which was a bit of a kick in the teeth for any Muhammad Ali fan. I mean, because he was a complete knobhead. But I suppose he's kind of going to.
He's based off him, like, and you'll warm to him as the films go on.
Oh, so he's in the others, is he?
Yeah.
I know he's in it up until the fourth one.
Yeah.
But I've just seen the trailer for Creed, which actually looks pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will actually quite look forward to seeing that.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything what happens in the other ones, but
well, I know that they say in Creed that his dad died in the ring.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that has something to do with Rocky 4.
I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you what happens with it, but yeah. But
oh, okay. So all right, okay.
Yeah, but anyway, what was I going to say?
I will soldier on with Rocky.
Yeah, but I'll be honest. Like, one of my favourite little parts of watching Rocky is that the beginning of each of the film is the fight at the end of the last one. Is that just to remind you, like highlights of it, not the full fight, but like highlights of it, just to like warm you up. It's like, do you know like the intros when it's showing up all the names?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that kind of thing. It does, but yeah, and then you get Eye of the Tiger in one of them. I think that's the third one. You get Eye of the Tiger. Yeah. Yeah, it's just yeah, you know, but I love the Rocky films. I think they're hilarious. I think they're just great. But yeah, I think for me it goes 3, 4. I'd say 3, 4, maybe 2, 1 or 1, 2. They're kind of like the same.
Yeah.
And then 5. Like 5's the worst one.
Yeah.
Like 5 is not even boxing in the fifth one. He's a trainer.
Really?
Yeah, he's not boxing in it.
But hang on, isn't he a box? Doesn't he do a couple of rounds in Rocky Balboa?
In Rocky Balboa, he comes back as an exhibition fight against. There's like this heavyweight champion at the time, and they did a simulation on ESPN where Rocky Balboa beat the shit out of him, and then this Richard the Line Dixon was like, "Yeah, I'm challenging you to an exhibition match." And Rocky's like, "Fuck it, let's do it." And then Rocky obviously loses, but he takes him the distance.
Right, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, but it was successful. Like the camera work on it's awful in that film. Like,
yeah, I've heard that. I've heard it's like
it just looks a bit strange, but the speech, he gives a good speech in it. And it was like, which is actually in the Xbox advert. When it's like, it's not matter how hard you get hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. So warning's done. And then it was like, yeah, Rocky, you go Rocky.
We love you, Rocky.
Yeah.
So I'm amazed actually that this has been made into a franchise. I mean, Sylvester Stallone has a habit of doing that.
He does. This is what made him. He was on the streets when he made Rocky 1.
Really?
Yeah, he was. This was the film that made him. Yeah.
Because I know after that he went on to do however many Rambo films.
He did, yeah. Like Rocky,
and then however many Expendable films.
Expendables are more recent, yeah. But like, really, like Rocky is what he's known for. Like that's kind of what got him where he is now. Like,
to be fair, I've always thought of Stallone as a bit of a kind of crappy, kind of campy actor. You know, Schwarzenegger type.
Yeah, he is a bit, but he writes Rocky, he directed it.
In this, he's very, very good.
Yeah,
very good. I thought. You know, I think he plays that really nice, really lovable, but a bit dim guy very well.
Yeah, like I think apart from the Star Wars films, obviously, I think this week Rocky 1, 2, 3 and 4 were the most successful films of the 70s and 80s. Like, those incredibly successful. It's like is like I know my dad. I started watching because my dad got me into them, and my dad said to me that they were really big when he was a kid. So that means in his language they were freaking huge because he lived under a rock for 20 years. Like, so.
Speaking of huge films, have you? This is just a quick one. Have you seen RoboCop?
I've seen RoboCop. Yeah.
Which one?
I've seen all of them, except for the reboot.
Have you not? You've not seen the reboot?
I haven't seen the reboot.
Good. Don't watch the reboot.
Yeah.
It's awful.
I've heard about it. I was going to watch it, and then someone went to me and was like, "It's just one of the worst films made ever."
Yeah. No, I'm gutted because I really liked RoboCop, the original. I didn't like the sequel.
Okay, so Nathan, let's go into the questions. So, do you want to read out the first question?
Yeah, I'll do that. Marion, it's from Marion. So, not really a question for either category, but I was wondering, who are your podcast inspirations and favourite online entertainers? Shatner for the win.
Shatner for the motherfucking win. Okay, so...
Yeah, for the fucking win.
Yeah. So, I'll start with podcast inspirations. For me, I really love the Co-optional podcast. It's my favourite podcast.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I think I really enjoy it because I like all three people that are on it all the time. Like, I really enjoy watching Jesse Cox. Yeah. I really enjoy watching Total Biscuit, and surprisingly, I really enjoy watching Dodger because she plays games that I'm not interested in, but she plays like visual novels, but she puts like voices on the characters, and the voices are hilarious. Like she does like this grandma voice for all the characters, and like it's generally fun. Like, I get a good laugh out of it, and like I think when they talk, I think on the podcast it's funny, but they do serious issues as well, and it's got a really good blend. I really like the blokes at Bold Move. You might not know who they are, but they do like TV and like film kind of show reviews. Like they did a really good one on Game of Thrones. Basically, they've got a guy who read the books and a guy who hasn't read the books, and they talk about the show, and he basically asks what you think is going to happen and things like that. And then once they've all done it, they answer questions about possible theories and everything. And then once he's done, this guy goes on his own and goes into the spoiler section, and then talks about possible theories that could happen later on in the books and what's going to happen in the show and how it differs from the books and things like that. It's really good. And they do that. They've got like a network, so they do it for like loads of different TV shows, like literally anything you can think of, they've got it for. And
wow, fantastic!
Yeah, and Jim and Aaron are the guys who do Nerd Culture, and Aaron was the guy who gave us the shout out on our very first episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was the guy. So that's kind of how we got so many subs and stuff.
He's the guy.
He's the man.
Right.
He's got a beautiful.
I'm gonna have to go and subscribe to these guys.
Yeah.
Now. What did you say their name was?
Bold Move. I don't think they're on YouTube, but are they on YouTube? Let me check. Move. They are on YouTube. They've only got like 1,500 subscribers. Oh, but they've had 10 million downloads, and they questioned that. So yeah, they're kind of like one of the people that are popular on iTunes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway.
Fair enough.
What else? What else is interested in? My favourite, really, that got me into listening to podcast was Elder Scrolls Online Weekly by the Shoddycast.
Yeah, Shoddycast.
Yeah, that really got me into it. I really enjoyed listening to them. I really enjoyed listening to the this older stuff that went Elder Scrolls at the time. Like there was Elder Scrolls Off the Record, which is something I'm definitely going to be going back to when the next Elder Scrolls game gets announced.
Yep.
You can listen to all the theories about that. There's some really good characters on that podcast. I used to listen to a little bit of WoW Radio back in the day. This is years ago. But and surprisingly, Total Biscuit hosted that before he ever went onto YouTube.
Did he?
So that you know that, yeah. And yeah, that was years ago. But I listened to a little bit of that. I wasn't really a dedicated listener. I used to listen to it, when I was I was up late and I was bored or something. It wasn't something I'd listen to dedicated. But yeah, like that. And that's kind of it for the podcast. Online entertainers, Jesse Cox, Dodger, Total Biscuit, them lot. I really love the Shoddycast. I love the law series that they do for things. I love Angry Joe. His reviews are fantastic.
Absolutely, yeah. Always on point.
I actually enjoy the GameSpot YouTube channel. Personally.
So do I, actually. Yeah. I think they're really good.
I think they've done a really good job of going from traditional games media into the online space and doing both at the same time.
Yeah.
Much better than, say, what Polygon and Kotaku have done.
Yeah.
I think Kotaku's kind of a joke of a website, to be honest with you. But GameSpot, I think Danny O'Dwyer, I think he's really good. I think his series The Point, I think is something that I really enjoy because he talks about different things that affect the game industry, like how
I watched that Assassin's Creed video, by the way.
It's funny, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's like, I've been fucking The Witcher 3 the whole time. Yeah, I like that. I like the lobby that they do. I like the lobby when they get the reviewer in and ask them questions of why they liked it and so on, and ask them about. I think they're pretty good, games journalists. Let me see who else I kind of enjoy. There's a guy called True Geordie. He's a football kind of guy.
Right.
He's pretty decent. Gaming wise, who else is there that I really watch? There isn't really many others. I don't believe. Boogie2988.
Mm-hmm.
I love Boogie.
I love Boogie too. He's actually quite an inspirational character, I think.
Yeah. There's Force Strategy Gaming, who I enjoy. He's done kind of more stuff on like Blizzard recently, but I kind of like his general gaming content as well.
Yep.
And I believe that is pretty much it. I'm sure there's more that I forgot about, but yeah, for actual entertainers that online that I generally watch frequently, they're the ones. There's ones I watch every now and again. There's some that I really don't like. I don't like that Fallout guy, that Mr. Marty Plays.
Oh yeah, no.
He's possibly the most biased man I've ever seen talk about a game ever. But I think that's everything. Have you got who are yours?
Obviously Shoddy Cast, Angry Joe, Total Biscuit, Co-optional. I really like those. It's mainly after that. It's really and Boogie2988 obviously, but after that it's really kind of entertainers. I like watching. H2O Delirious. He's probably one of my favourites.
Vanos and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Those guys are I find those guys very entertaining, even though they're not really doing like any kind of serious.
It's
stuff.
just something to watch and laugh to.
And you do get a good laugh. I've subscribed to probably 4 of them. I think Vanos, H2O, Mini Lads, and Wildcat. I think they're fantastic. They're hilarious. There's one that I really like called Outside Xbox.
Outside Xbox.
Outside Xbox. Yeah, which is very good. They do these lists. They do lists. They do gameplays. They do show of the week, which is always really good to watch because they talk about a game in depth.
Is it specifically for Xbox?
Not always. It's kind of Xbox focused, but not Xbox centric. If you know what I mean. They talk about PlayStation games as well.
Okay, yeah.
And include them in their lists.
I was about to say this kind of seems like the Xbox version of PlayStation Access, but
I think it is.
But PlayStation Access does just basically centric on PlayStation games. PlayStation games any game that comes out on PlayStation but could come out on PC and on Xbox as well. Yeah, they're a little bit biased PlayStation Access, but I do kind of enjoy them a little bit. I don't know, I think they're quite funny at times.
Yeah, no, I love I love Outside Xbox. I just think they're very, very British.
Yeah,
I really like that about them. But yeah, no, they're really good. So they're probably some of my favourites. There's others I've missed out, like Game Theorists, which is that's I don't know. I enjoy Game Theorists.
I think it's a good concept. I don't really like the guy personally. I don't know.
Oh, MatPat.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think the problem with game theory now is it's getting a little bit too sponsored.
Yeah.
It's like every theory he uploads now seems to be related to a new release.
Yeah.
And it's always a way to plug the game.
Yeah.
Like
Until Dawn he did one, I believe.
Yeah, he did one on Mad Max, the newest game that's coming out, which wasn't even a theory. That was just him showing you the customization options and talking about Master Chief's armor and that kind of thing. They're a bit woolly now.
Yeah, I know he did a deal with YouTube for the YouTube gaming thing, live stream thing.
Yeah.
So he did a lot of that at the first one. He doesn't do it anymore because the deal expired. But
Yeah. Yeah, no, there is no doubt about it. He's a very, very, very clever. He's very good at marketing. He knows how to make his. He knows how to treat it like a business. So there's much to admire about him. To be fair. And obviously, I think you and I both subscribe to news channels like The Know.
The Polaris Daily Bite as well.
Yeah. I've not actually subscribed to that. I should look at that.
It's a bit more. They kind of it's kind of the same as The Know, but they do kind of different kind of games. The Know is kind of more focused really on that AAA kind of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas Polaris is more like they do some AAA stuff, like when stuff gets announced, but they're also kind of like more into the kind of sub AAA, if that makes any sense.
The indie space, the almost indie space.
Like not quite indie, but like they're made by AAA developers, but not like as popular as say like Assassin's Creed and Far Cry and so on.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's kind of it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. Our inspirations.
Yeah, but like, who would you say is like your main inspiration? Like, if you had to pick one out that makes you think, like, before you go into a podcast, this is the person that like I generally like relate myself to the most. If that makes any sense.
Well, I don't think I relate to any of them, but if there's kind of one person I kind of look at and I think, I'm trying to do kind of something similar to what he's done.
Yeah.
I'm kind of, I'm inspired by
Yeah,
him.
not really doing what he's doing, but taking bits of what he's done and molding around your own personality, kind of thing. Like doing your own, you're still doing your own thing, but like you say, taking inspirations from more so than, like, for example, for me, I'd say for me it's probably Josh from the Shoddycast.
Yeah.
Like, I say, he's as a personality, he's not the one I'd watch. Or Jesus Christ, that gave me a heart attack.
Stupid dog. Yeah, sorry about that.
It's alright.
Anyway.
But like for me, there's bits of him that I'd relate to, and bits of him I disagree with. But I think as a person, when you come across on a podcast, the way he explained his points and stuff is something that I'd be inspired. I was inspired by when doing a podcast, most personally.
Yeah, I don't really know kind of who I'm inspired by, but if I was to kind of say someone I kind of agree with most and whose kind of beliefs and that kind of thing I kind of really subscribe to, I'd probably say Angry Joe.
Yeah.
I've not got his kind of personality.
He's not kind of humour, but like the points he makes, you kind of feel you.
I respect, and I do kind of I'm trying to follow. So yeah. When I'm going into it, I am kind of thinking,
some of his
do
points.
what he does, I do it.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's
Okay, so the next question is Butchie2398, who asks, do you think book to film is the best way to get a good movie, or are original movies the best way? And Shatner for the win.
I don't know. I was thinking about this, a bit earlier, and I was thinking, books to film, they don't always pay off.
They don't always?
In fact, actually, it's quite often they don't.
Yeah.
I don't think, unless it's a well-established franchise.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, they do make the best franchises, I think. But as a standalone, I can't really think of many that have really succeeded massively.
No, I can't either, to be honest.
It's like franchises, they go well, like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Hunger Games, so on and so forth. But I think for if you're going to make the one film about most of the standalones about books that have gone well, they've altered the book a bit.
Yeah.
They've taken bits in here and there and everything, whereas the franchises kind of stay more true to the book, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that's true. I would, if to answer the question, I think probably original movies. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Are the best films, because that's what they're designed for. They're designed to be good films, whereas a book is a translation. But the most successful is definitely books to film.
But there's no one right way to go about it.
Absolutely not. No. I mean, even game to film, or ride to film, or car to film, or whatever. People draw inspiration for films from anything and everywhere. So I don't think there's one right way to go about it, but I think original movies tend to be better. That's just my thoughts.
Okay, I'm looking forward to the next question.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting.
I'll read it because I think you've got. I'll read it because I think you've got some points that I want to hear. So, Quila, or it could be Welsh where the L's are pronounced as a C. Quaker. Do you think it's hypocritical that people get angry that films go away from the book, but when they do it for comic books, people think it's all right? Shatner for the win.
My thoughts on this one are, I'm not sure that people always get angry when books go away from the film. Films go away from the book.
But we do see it more often than we do comic books.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. With comic books, Yeah, there's a lot more leniency there. I think that's absolutely true. Do I think it's hypocritical? No, not really, because I think it's a question of quality.
Yeah.
I think with books are only made into books are only published because they could be successful, and they're only made into films because they are successful.
Yeah.
And for that reason, a lot of book readers want to go into a film and see what they saw in the book translate onto the screen. And very often, what was so good in the book is not used in the film when they divert. And so that's disappointing. I'm thinking, for example, the Percy Jackson films. They did the Lightning Thief in the Sea of Monsters, right? The books by Rick Riordan are quite good. There's about 5 of them, and they're pretty good. They're fun reads. And although the stories in the films weren't bad, they were completely different from that in the book, and I would have liked to have seen some of the great scenes of the first 2 books played out in the film.
Yeah.
But also, overall, the film just wasn't very good.
Yeah.
So
wonder a bit when there's like a centaur dancing in Las Vegas.
Yes, that was Grover. Yeah, do not talk about that bit. That bit was dire.
Is that in the film? Is that in the book at all?
No, there's nowhere near the book.
What was going through his mind is like...
I have no idea. They tried to, age up Percy Jackson.
I've got an idea. Why don't we get a centaur dancing in Las Vegas?
Yeah. God, that's a money spinner.
And then you got the director of the company who's putting it behind the film, putting money behind it. Like, that's an incredible idea. Work on it.
Yeah,
Work
stood
on
there,
it.
Steepled his fingers. Yeah. Do it now.
Yeah.
Do it now. Yeah. Whereas with comic books, they just churn them out. Do you know what I mean? Like they churn them out. Like even if a comic book isn't very good, they're still going to make more. Whereas if a book isn't very good, it won't get published.
Yeah.
So in books, you will generally find there is a much higher quality in general as opposed to comic books and the stuff you're reading. Not all of the Justice League New 52 stuff or the Nightwing New 52 stuff that I'm a big fan of is great. Not all of it's very good, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the Grid, which has just come out. It was a new volume that's just come out, and that was not very good at all, really, for Justice League. But I know they're going to make another one.
Yeah.
And whereas with a book, that'd be it. It wouldn't go any further. Also comic books are a reflection of the time. Comic books are a reflection of the time they're written in. So you've got something like Captain America in the 1950s and 60s being entitled Captain America Commie Smasher.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get that nowadays. And if they tried to make a story, comic book story, surrounding that whole story arc, it wouldn't wash. No one would want to see it because it's out of place now in today's time. And kind of one last point I'd like to make. Even though generally I think what you see is when films divert from the source material, they're generally not as good.
Yeah.
There are examples of where films that have diverted are quite good. Harry Potter was not always on point.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, the Lord of the Rings. The Bourne trilogy. God, that is so far off point. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's the original was about Jason Bourne trying to track down and kill Carlos the Jackal.
Yeah.
And you're not going to see that in the Bourne trilogy. They're nothing like. The only thing they took was the character names.
Yeah.
That's it. But still, they were fantastic. Whereas I think when people get angry at a film for diverting from the book, it's generally because that film is not very good.
Yeah.
That's just my thoughts on it.
I will say this though, I do know that now in books they are getting this age of self-publication, that publishers are not as much needed as what they were. I only know that because my uncle's writing a book, and he's going to self-publish it. So, yeah.
Well,
yeah,
plug.
Yeah, but it's not going to be out for a number of years yet, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, but with people I do think get too uptight when books don't go to film. Like the amount of people that slagged off Lord of the Rings because they didn't have the Tom Bombadil scene. Let's think about it. The Tom Bombadil scene in Lord of the Rings is kind of pointless. Like
I think it's designed to
show a bit of the world.
Emphasise that there's a bigger world out there than what they're seeing.
It is, but it has no impact on the main story.
Yeah, not many moviegoers will care about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Really.
It's like it's just going to be 10 minutes in a forest with some fucking mental bloke, his wife's singing to him, and then they send him off the way after giving him a bit of porridge. You know, it's a boring scene, and like I don't understand why people got so uptight about not having it. Whereas, like with comic books, you know, like you say, people are a bit more lenient, and I think I don't know why people get so uptight. Like with Game of Thrones, people always get uptight about that. Like with me, I'm always at the point like I don't care. I enjoyed the show as much as I enjoyed the books, and I kind of like it, to be honest, when it changes because I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, I'm similar because I don't care either. It's kind of like I can watch the show and go, no, this is genuinely really good, stands up on its own merit. It's not one of those where I think some of the Harry Potter films, the later Harry Potter films, were guilty of this, where I would have to read the books to understand it, and it's not one of those where I genuinely think that I was disappointed, but that I want to go away and read the books to see what the books are like, to see what this series could have been. It's just genuinely good all the way along, you know. So I'm with you there.
Yeah. So I think we've come to the end.
Yeah.
Right. So I just want to make a quick announcement. Is that I was questioned twice in the comments last week about having a PO box for people to send us stuff. If you want to send us stuff, we've opened one. It is at Higher Cambridge Street, Manchester, and the code is M156AA, and you just put 2GnM on it, 2GnM, and then if anything happens, I get an alert, and then I'll collect it, and then if we get stuff, we'll talk about it. But you know, you don't have to send us stuff. We'll just, if you want to, you want to. But yeah, I wouldn't spend any money on sending us stuff, to be honest with you. But if I wouldn't, just get a free stamp and just put it in the post and then send it on its way. So, yeah, I think have you got anything more to announce, Nathan? Anything?
Only that my website is still going.
Still going. Link in the description for it.
Yep. If you think it's a worthwhile cause, please donate something. If not, don't worry about it. You know, other than that, no, I'm pretty much done.
Pretty much done. Cool. Okay, so I just want to give an update on the War series. I'm in the process of editing the actual videos now, not the audio. I've done the audio and everything. So 6 of them are going to be edited, and then they'll be uploaded, you know, time after time, kind of thing. Which is, I'm looking forward to doing. They should be out. I'm hoping they'll be out within 2 weeks' time. Like within probably, we'll see by the 25th they'll be out. The first one will be out. Should be anyway.
Excellent.
Okay, so
yeah, check your subscribe box for that on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Yeah. Go subscribe.
Honestly, I mean, come on, you've been with us this long.
Yeah.
Or if this was your first episode, I mean, thank you for staying with us this long. You know?
Okay, so yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and goodbye.